Hey everyone, how are y'all? What little baby, how are you? Hey Michelle, Werewolf Queen, how are you doing? Hey Cheryl. Hey Scott, how are you? Mar, are you feeling any better? Hey Lawnmower Man, how are you? Hey Raven, how are you? Still in the hospital. Oh Mar, honey, I hope you get to feeling better soon. Have they said how long you're gonna have to be in there? Hey Jerry, Stone Gator, how are you? Hey Crime Crazy. Hey Shanna, the other Sharon, how are you doing? Hey Musical. Headphones, how are you? Let's see. Headphones says, "Hi Scarlett. Today I'm 8 years sober." Oh, Headphones, congratulations. That is awesome. And yes, Shanna, I'm doing good. Thank you. Musical, yeah, I'm doing better. Okay, so I see that Nightbot wants to be a pain in the butt tonight. And Headphones, you're very welcome. Okay, wait, what a baby, that's fine. Hey Moonvale, how are you? Sandra, how are you? Hey Emerald Queen. Werewolf Queen, are you doing all right? And Emerald Queen, all them pictures that you sent of the beach house, they're adorable. That's like the cutest little beach house I've ever seen. William, how are you? Sandra, we're happy to have you here with us. Hey Gregory, how are you? Hold on, y'all. I'm getting all my stuff ready to get started tonight. Shanna, yeah, it is. Okay. I've been waiting for this video from Ashley Banfield today too about Xana's mom. The other Sharon, you been doing okay? Kelly M, how are you? And Sandra, it's a long story, but I didn't get to sleep until like a little after 6 this morning. I couldn't make myself get up at 7:30. So I'm gonna get through everything I gotta get through tonight, and then I'm gonna be up in the morning so I can stream it. Yeah, Jerry, she put out another one tonight. It's a little over 4 minutes long, and it's it's kind of the same thing, but it's a little bit more of stuff that Ashley has added to it. Well, Mara, hopefully soon they will let you out. Thank you, Sandra. Amethyst, how are you? Is somebody else in the hospital other than Mara? I don't know if anybody else has said that they were or not. Sandra, wasn't you the one that was having some issues? I don't think you were in the hospital though. I don't remember who that was. Amethyst, you're down in the southern part of Louisiana, right? Okay, maybe another Sandra. I don't know. There is a couple of different Sandras in here, so it could be the other one. Oh, South Georgia. Okay, well then I could have swore I had an amethyst that was down south. But y'all are probably out in Georgia getting all the rain that we got a few days ago. Hey, Simple Butterfly, how are you? And yeah, amethyst is it's 36 degrees here now. We got a bunch of rain the other day, and it's like it is with you. It's dry but cold. Hey, Yorkie Mama, how are you? All right. Mm, The amazing Tiff, how are you? Let's see. Scarlett, you were right about Taylor. Are you talking about um, Bryan's attorney, the amazing Tiff? Yeah, Amethyst. Most of those were down south. We didn't have any up here where we were at. Yeah, the amazing Tiff. We actually went over her stuff. Well, we watched Xana's mom's. It was two videos that Ashley Banfield put out last night, where she had talked to Kara. It's just a sad situation. American Virtual, how are you? See, I might just give my opinion and get going as I have a Tuesday. Well, American Virtual, I hope you get to feeling better soon. She represented other family members. I haven't heard about her representing other family members. I know that Xana's mom, Kara, said though that she trusted her, gave her power of attorney, and just dropped her. American Virtual, you're very welcome. Like I said, I hope you get to feeling better. All right. So, like I said, there was another video that Ashley put out tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and start with that. And basically, she's just saying Idaho victim's mom wants justice, but she's against the death penalty. Talking about Xana's mom. Let me get it pulled up here. Hey, Jim J, how are you? Let's see. I'm that with Tylenol and Advil might be listening to things again. American Virtual, you're very welcome. Jim J, I'm doing good. Okay. All right, y'all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. Like I said, this one's only a little over 4 minutes, and I don't know if she's gonna put out any other ones with Xana's mom or not, but I'm gonna keep an eye out for them. Did not realize with the gag order in place that AB could interview Kara. Gregory, Kara, she doesn't fall under the gag order. I think it's just the law enforcement and the attorneys, like the state and the defense attorney, and then any attorneys for the families. Mar, you have a good night. And you're welcome, Gregory. All right, so I'm fixing to go ahead and get this started. Mega Truth, how are you? Let's see. A lot of people are upset with Banfield and think she is exploiting Kara, who clearly has issues. She does. She does have some issues. I hope. Yeah, I mean, if Ashley's interviewing her and all this and that, I'm hoping that maybe either Ashley or some people that she works with or for, that they can get Kara help. You know, she has all of these different drug charges and all this and that. So maybe they can get her help and you know, maybe get her into rehab or something like that. All right, y'all. So I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. Give me 1 second. While it's playing, I'm gonna mute out.
So I had a very important question for Kara Northington, Xana Kernodle's mother. When it comes to capital punishment, when it comes to the death penalty, Kaylee Gonzalez's parents were crystal clear. They wanted nothing short of a death penalty for Bryan Kohberger if he is convicted. So what about Kara Northington? She lost her daughter too. I want to play this part of the exclusive interview so that you can hear for yourself what she has to say. What do you want to see happen to Bryan Kohberger?
I want to see him pay for what he's done. I'm not interested in a death penalty. That's not who I am. I don't believe in that. But I do think that he should spend the rest of his days in prison.
Do you plan to attend the hearings and his trial if there is one?
I haven't decided yet. if I will be able to do that.
So, Kara, What was your first reaction when you learned that your former attorney is representing the man accused of killing your daughter?
I'm heartbroken. I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Have you had a chance to speak with her about this?
No, I haven't spoken with her. I found out through a friend who found it on Reddit. So,
you found out through a friend through social media. You weren't notified by Ann Taylor, your attorney, herself?
Right now.
And have you tried to reach out to her?
No, I just found out today, literally. So, yeah.
So, I mean, just so many thoughts. It's so incredible that there is this connection. Are you going to try to fight this at all?
Well, yeah, absolutely, yes.
Because as I understand it, this would require a waiver, something that you sign and that he would sign in order for her to go ahead and be able to do this legitimately. I can imagine the way your reaction is that you are not interested in signing a waiver to allow her to continue on.
Right, exactly. And I'd already given her power of attorney. I'd already signed over power of attorney so that she could help me with getting into rehab and whatnot. And so, I mean, I don't understand how she could do this. I don't understand what happens now. Does she still have power of attorney, or what goes on now?
If you were able to say something to Bryan Kohberger, what message would you want to send? I just want to know why. I just want to know why. Why did he do this? Why did he take these kids? Why? What did they do to him? Because I can't imagine them doing anything that deserved for him to murder them. Again, that's Kara Northington, Xana Kernodle's mother, speaking with us exclusively, and you heard what she said. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider.
Okay. Yeah, this very sad. So, like I said, hopefully they will help her, Ashley. Now, I'm sure Ashley has pull. She has a way to get her into a rehab, and hopefully her mom will go and she will stay. And get the help that she needs. Miss Renee, how are you? Okay. Oh, this little thing keeps popping up on my screen. Yes, Miss Renee, send her endless love and prayers, because right now she needs it. No matter what her situation is or what her charges are or whatever, she still needs help. She still needs prayer. Okay, so I got one here. This one's going to be from Dan Abram, and it's talking sort of about the same thing. And Gail, how are you? Hey Tammy, how are you? Okay, we can all help by saying a prayer for Kara and that she overcomes this addiction. That is true, Tammy. Thank you. Okay, let me grab this one next. Like I said, this one's from Dan Abrams and says attorney for Idaho victim's mom quits to represent her daughter's alleged killer. All right, give me just 1 second, y'all. I mean, yeah, Kara needs prayers, but not just Kara. Actually, all of these families do. You know, all the victims' families, the friends, all of them. All right. This one's a little over 3 minutes, so it's not going to be as long as the other one.
Last night, the mother of Idaho murder victim Xana Kernodle spoke to News Nation's Ashley Banfield, and this wasn't just about how heartbroken she is or even about the suspect, Bryan Kohberger. No, she has a bizarre connection to Kohberger's lawyer that should really lead to a lot of questions. Kohberger's public defender, Ann Taylor, who we've seen in court with Kohberger, withdrew as the lawyer for Kara Northington, Xana's mother, when she agreed to take the Kohberger case. Yes, Kohberger's lawyer withdrew from her case to defend the man accused of killing her daughter. Her charges were filed on November 19th, just 6 days after her daughter's murder. After being charged with 2 felony counts of possession of a controlled substance, Taylor withdrew on January 5th, the day a judge appointed her as Kohberger's public defender for the murders of Xana, Madison, Kaylee, and Ethan. Now, Xana's mom spoke with Ashley about how she felt learning the news that her attorney had sort of switched sides, so to speak.
I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Northington goes on to say that no one had notified her Taylor was no longer in her case, but she found out from a friend who saw it on Reddit. Says she hasn't signed any kind of formal waiver giving approval for the switch, and even says she'd given Taylor her power of attorney. Now, Taylor obviously made a choice and withdrew from Xana's mother's case for the bigger case, Kohberger and the murder. Sure, small town, limited pool of public defenders, and even fewer who are qualified to handle a death penalty case. I get it. But it doesn't change the reality that a woman who trusted her attorney, who was depending on her attorney, was abandoned by her to instead represent the guy accused of killing her daughter. Why is that okay without her consent? Joining me now is Tim Kressback, a former Idaho public defender who served as death penalty qualified counsel in Idaho. Thanks so much for coming on the program. Real quick, any obligation on the lawyer's part to consult with the client about withdrawing from this kind of case?
Perhaps. I just don't think we know enough about that attorney-client relationship. I'm not even sure that Ann Taylor ever met with her or learned any confidences. And
that's not the way she's characterizing it.
You know, the process will be played out. Dan, there's so much in this case that we don't know. Just a month ago, we were saying that the Moscow Police Department was the most incompetent police department in the country, and then a month later, hailed as geniuses. Let's let the process work.
I guess
I'm complaining about any conflict.
I was taking Mom at her word. I'm so sorry we didn't get more time with you. Thanks for joining us more on Ashley Banfield. Thank you for watching.
Okay, American Princess, I'm doing good, thank you. Where was it at? Sinful Butterfly. I'm going to go back and read back over the gag order again, just to be sure. to see who all it has listed on there. Yeah, a lot more man. He just like, okay, sorry, we didn't get more time. Okay, so I do have another one that I'm going to play. And it's a little bit longer. Hold on, let me get this one out of my inbox so it's out of my way. And this one is from The Heel. Does anyone watch The Heel on YouTube? Okay, so the parents aren't in the gag order, only their attorney. Okay, thank you, Stone Gator. I thought that's how it was. I know that they had, it was listed, law enforcement officials, the attorneys for both sides, and then I thought it said the victims' families' attorneys. But I want to go back and make sure, though, that it doesn't have the family members listed in it. That it is, in fact, just their attorneys. Okay. Rewatch. Okay, Mara, that's fine, honey. Okay, Yahoo News said families, but that could have been a misunderstanding on their part. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and read it. I remember there's something on there where it says the victims' families' attorneys, but I want to go back and reread it because it might have said the victims' families as well. Hey, Tracy, how are you? And King Scarlet, how are you? Okay, they're about to put us on gag orders. King Scarlet, honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. Like you're saying, like the way the case is going, this whole case is just super weird. And there's so many twists and turns and new people and all that. Oh, wait, Lost, you are correct. Lawyers for victims and victims' families only. Okay, so Crime Crazy, so it's not the families, just the... Yeah, I'm in Australia. No, yeah, if they try to gag, put everybody on social media on a gag order, you realize how many people there would be? Just the YouTube creators talking about this case, look how many of them there is. Okay, just legal representation for the family. Okay. Thank you, Crime Crazy. Yeah, they would have a lot of people. I can't wait till June gets here, though. And, this trial starts. Okay, if you're related to an attorney and sharing information might get things thrown out of court. Scott, you mean if like somebody's related to one of the attorneys involved in the case? Is that what you're saying? Tracy, thank you so much for becoming a member and welcome to the family. Hey, Irene, how are you? I wonder though if there's anyone that's talking about this case as kin to one of the attorneys, or just has anything to do with one of the attorneys that's involved in this. I mean, if so, I would hope that they're not talking. lunch reckoning company tonight. She did some reading on the subject. It was pretty mind-blowing. There's so much to this rabbit hole that will leave us all speechless. Tammy, I agree. I think that whenever this goes to court and everything starts coming out, we're going to be completely mind-blown and speechless and everything else. See, I have a DOJ family member. Scott, it seems like you told me that before. Or somebody had told me, it might not have been you, but somebody had said that they had family in one of the agencies like that. Hey, Zara, how are you? Okay. All right, so I came across this video today. It says Idaho Murders Update, exclusive interview with Xana Kernodle's mother, and it's mostly Bryan Ethan that they're speaking with. So they basically just do an interview with him. And hold on a minute. 3 parents of 2 Idaho stabbing victims had same attorney. And it's talking about Ann Taylor. Give me just 1 second, y'all. This might have been, I forgot who it was that had just said this a few minutes ago in the chat. I don't remember who it was though, but give me just a second. I got to email this to myself so I can keep up with it. Shoot. All right. So apparently there was three parents of 2 of the Idaho victims. They had the same attorney as Bryan. Hey, baby boob, how are you? Okay. See, wouldn't it make sense for Kara to call 82? Thank you. Okay. I'm trying to catch up real quick, y'all. Oh, so she represented Ben also, which is Maddie's dad and Maddie's stepmom. Huh. Okay, well, I've got that video next after I play this one. This one's like 11 minutes long. Like I said, though, it's got Bryan Ethan in it, where they're doing an interview with him. Okay, well, is this not? Hold on. I mean, I gotta get this off my screen so it doesn't. She needs to recuse herself. Yeah, amazing tip. I think she should, but I mean, it's been said though that she's the only one in northern Idaho that is qualified for this type of case. So that might have been the reason why they, the state give her his case. Cheryl, how are you? All right, so let's get this one pulled up. Okay. Gotta wear a hologen monitor for 2 weeks. Cheryl, it was you that was telling us about you being sick and everything. Hey Ray, how are you? Cheryl, are you in the hospital? Because somebody was asking who else it was in the hospital. And Samma too, how are you? An amazing tip. Yes, it does look awful. It looks like just the morals part of it is what looks really bad. Okay. Now let me get this pulled up. Yeah, it doesn't look good at all. And I mean, to me, it would have looked better probably. And I don't know if Anne could have done this or not, but it would have looked better if she would have went to Kara or talked to Kara and would have been like, look, this is how it is. I've got to let you go. I've got to pick his case up, but or something like that. Let her know, not so she wouldn't have had to find out like this. Cindy, how are you? Let's see. Glad to catch you tonight. Life has been kicking my butt lately, and I've fallen behind on all the details of the case. Well, Cindy, we're glad that you're here with us tonight. Okay, y'all. So like I said, this one is like 11 minutes long. I'm going to grab the link. I'm going to throw it down in the chat if anybody wants to check their channel out. I've watched a few of stuff of theirs, not a whole lot. I don't know if anybody else has or not, but if y'all want to, there's the link. That's the link to the channel, but you can go, or to the video, but you can go to the channel from there. 9mm, how are you? Let's see. Kara is wanted. She obviously will not take her attorney's advice. Will not likely find her. So I don't see why it's in her now. Well, she had to represent her to begin with because she was the public defender for her. But I think Kara needs help. And I'm hoping that with Ashley talking to her and being able to have contact with her and all this and that, whether anybody knows where she's at or not, she still needs help. Hey, James, how are you? Just stopping in to say hi. James, we've been out doing good. How about yourself? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start this one, and I'm going to mute out while this is playing, but I'll be down in the chat. Oh my God, hold on one second. This little thing keeps popping up telling me that I want to read news articles, and I don't want to read news articles. Hey, Philly, how are you? Okay, so the office has power of attorney over Kara to put her in rehab. She doesn't want it and skip court. So was that? I wonder if that was the stipulation. She goes to she gives them power of attorney. Hey Tammy, how are you? And was she supposed to go to court, and then in order for her to not go to jail or whatever the stipulation was, she would have had to went to rehab. I wonder if that's what it was. Either way, whether she wants it or not, she needs the help. See, yeah, that's why she has a power. Okay, I got it now, Stone Gator. Thank you for that. I mean, that does make sense. She gives them power of attorney. She goes to court. Instead of her going to jail, the deal would be she goes to rehab instead. But I don't know. Maybe she'll realize sooner rather than later that she needs the help and she needs to go to rehab and she needs to get her life together. Okay, so I'm fixing to play this. Like I said, I'm gonna mute out. I'll be down in the chat, and then I'm gonna play this other one that I just found about the 3 parents after this one. Let's see. I was an addict and got off on my own, and with meth and cigarette, I quit both. I'm on no support. You have to do it when you want, or yeah, it has. I agree with that, Stone Gator. It has to be something that you want. Uh, I hope, though, really, that she realizes this is like I get that she needs to want it, but I'm just hoping rather sooner rather than later, because I would hate for all of this, you know, the addiction, the court dates, all of these different arrests that she's had, her daughter, you know, dying. It seems like it would be so much on someone with that type of problem, and I would just hate that something bad would happen to her. You know what I'm saying? But Stone Gator, I'm also happy to hear that you were able to get off of it. So I'm very happy for you for that. All right, so let me go ahead and get this playing, y'all.
The defense attorney representing Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger represented Xana Kernodle's mother on several drug-related charges before recusing herself from Kara Kernodle's most recent case in an unexpected turn of events. News Nation's Ashley Banfield spoke exclusively with Kara last night. Let's watch some of that.
I'm heartbroken because I trusted her. She pretended that she was wanting to help me, and to find that out that she's representing him, I can't even convey how betrayed I feel.
Have you had a chance to speak with her about this?
No, I haven't spoken with her. I found out through a friend who found it on Reddit.
We're joined by senior national correspondent at News Nation, Bryan Enton, who's here to fill us in on this and more developments in the quadruple Idaho murder case. Bryan, walk us through what we've learned. I know there's been a lot of updates on how much content or contact, at least one directional contact between Kohberger and the victims, that he had been in their DMs on Instagram, although maybe they hadn't seen them. And now this attorney wrinkle. Update us.
Yeah, the attorney situation is interesting. Basically, Xana Kernodle's mom, who you just saw there, who has had a history, which she talks about, of drug issues and has been in and out of jail and been arrested several times, had Ann Taylor, the public defender, as her lawyer. And it was apparently like they knew each other. They met many times. Xana's mom claims that Ann Taylor had power of attorney over her to help her get into rehab at one point. So it was sort of like an extensive relationship. And Ann Taylor is now the public defender for Bryan Kohberger, which is just like kind of weird to wrap your mind around. So one of the victim's mom's public defender is now the public defender for the man accused of killing that woman, Xana, that young woman. So Xana's mom is not happy about it. Basically, the lawyer got off of her case so that she could take on Bryan Kohberger's case, which really has that family not happy.
Well, because the implication is also, I mean, you would think that given that she had a previous relationship representing the mother, she would recuse herself from the murder case and keep representing the mother in her drug cases. It seems insult to injury to choose instead to represent the murderer. Do we know about whether or not the attorney had a choice in which of those cases she recused herself from?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and we don't know, and we're hoping to find out, but it's difficult because of this really strict gag order right now involving the case. Like, the lawyers aren't allowed to talk at all, which in a way sort of puts her in an unfair position because she can't really respond to any of this, and we don't really know what happened behind the scenes. But we do know, there's not a lot of public defenders in Idaho, and there's not a lot that are death penalty certified in that area. So it would make sense for Ann Taylor to be on the Kohberger case because she is death penalty certified and has the experience to handle the case. But it's still really perplexing that this wouldn't be a conflict, especially if there's trial, and Xana's mom has to testify, like how could Xana's mom's former lawyer, interview her on the witness stand? I think it's going to bring up all sorts of possible issues.
Yes, that was my question. So it sounds like this may have come about because of the geographic proximity. He's going to be tried in a certain place where she'd be the person you might call to say he needs a public defender, rather than her calling up saying, going out of her way, I'm going to represent this guy who's halfway across the country. It's a where it's taking place sort of component to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it appears in one way. Again, we don't really have the public defender's side because she's not allowed to talk. So it does appear that there's limited resources in Idaho, especially when it would come to a death penalty case. But we don't really know how they're going to work around some of these issues now that she has this relationship with Xana's mom.
So tell us more about what we've learned with respect to contact, virtual contact, at least on social media, and anything else about the murderer, and the alleged murderer, and the victims.
Yeah. So again, with the gag order, we haven't gotten a ton of information. People magazine reported that Kohberger had direct messaged one of the victims through Instagram. Didn't say which victim that was, but that it may have gone into the unread folder. Like if you get a message from someone you don't follow, it goes into a separate folder and may not have been noticed by one of the victims. We haven't been able to get that reporting on our own. I've been really careful with the social media aspect, just because when we first got the name Kohberger a little bit before it was released, I couldn't find really any social media for him. And then when the name came out, like literally within hours, there were all of these accounts that were apparently created by fake people. So I think with the social media element, like we just have to be careful and wait, just because there's a lot of people online that have sort of just like created these fake Bryan Kohberger accounts.
There was some reporting earlier on that one of the victims believed that they had been stalked, was overheard talking in a shop about having a stalker. Do we know if there was any connection between the alleged perpetrator here and her belief that she was being tracked in that way?
Yeah, we don't know. And that was actually my reporting. We interviewed a vape shop manager who had interacted with the victims and Kaylee Gonzalez quite a number of times and heard them talk about this possible stalker who was following Kaylee. We haven't seen anything that specifically connects that to Bryan Kohberger, but in the arrest affidavit, there is all of this evidence and cell phone data that shows that police believe Kohberger was around the house many, many times before the killing, sort of driving around. So it wouldn't surprise me if he was in fact following them around. But we haven't seen anything come out from police to actually connect him to like following. I mean, he was circling the house, they say, but we don't know that he was like following them, on campus or around downtown or anything like that.
Well, I also saw a report that he may have dined at a restaurant where Xana and Madison worked, and there's a possibility they would have waited on him.
Yeah, this was another report that came out that he went there to, he was vegan and that they had a vegan menu on the item and that he went to the Mad Greek restaurant, which is where some of the victims worked. But interestingly, again, that wasn't my reporting, so I can't talk too much about it. But the restaurant has now come out and said that is not true, that it was a former employee who said that, and that it's definitely not true that they apparently looked at the video. So, we don't really know for sure if that happened.
It seems like, obviously this is a huge national story, and based on what you just said, people who live in the town are kind of weighing in and potentially trying to become a part of that story. Can you help us get a sense of what the public reaction has been locally now that there is a suspect in hand, and what the atmosphere is like on campus in particular?
Yeah, I think there's definitely relief overall. The minute the arrest happened, you could just feel it in the town. So things definitely feel calmer there. I think the students feel safer walking around. But in terms of like some of these reports and the leaks that continue to come out, I think there's a little bit of frustration in the town. Like they just kind of want to be left alone a little bit right now, which I can totally get. I mean, we were camped out there for so long. And there's this preliminary hearing that's set for June, which we will get a lot more information then. And I think the people who live there, they're just hoping, like, can everybody just give us a break right now? Because, everybody is covering the story nationally, obviously, and really into it. But for the people who live there, it's like, this is their town. And they're not used to this kind of attention.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else that you think, being there, talking to people, following this more closely than, perhaps anybody else really in the country, they think people should know about this case? And generally speaking, being on kind of a crime beat, are there things that are still surprising you about this particular crime as compared to others that you might have covered?
Yeah, I mean, I think the gag order is really surprising. I've never really seen anything quite like it. I mean, I've seen gag orders before, but it's gotten stricter and stricter. That's something we haven't talked about yet. The judge had a gag order initially saying that none of the lawyers could talk, or the prosecution or defense or law enforcement, and then put out a new gag order saying not only can the lawyers not talk, but people representing the victims and basically anyone connected to the case can't talk, which I've never seen anything like that. There's this media coalition now that plans to fight that, because now they're trying to silence people who, aren't even like lawyers in the courtroom, which is a little bit unheard of, I think. So that's surprising to me, and I think it'll be interesting to see the way that plays out.
Well, is there any justification given for why there's these gag orders in place?
I think that they're just hoping they really want a fair trial, which I think most people can understand. And they want to have a very tight case where, there's no reason that someone can come back and say, oh, this got leaked or that got leaked, and that's the reason that this shouldn't move forward. So in some ways, I think the intentions seem good. But, I think there's just questions about how far can a judge really go to keep everybody totally silent. And in some ways, I think it fuels leaks. Like, you're hearing about some of these things coming out, which I think has the court, angry. I think that's actually why they pushed forward and made the gag order even more serious, like even more strict.
Yeah, I was wondering if there were some maybe jury selection implications, given that it's a smaller pool and it's such a big story. But regardless, thank you so much for all of your reporting on this.
Yeah, thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll have to keep following the story, and we'll have more Rising for you right after this.
Okay. Hey, Carrie, how are you? And did I hear him say that Kara and Ann had met several times? But I know some people were saying that they never met and all this and that. Excuse me. I could have swore I heard him say that, but I could be wrong. Okay, Emerald Queen, I thought that's what I heard. Just want to make sure I wasn't hearing things. And Megatruth, I'm very, very sorry to hear about your sister passing. Can I go back? Yeah, I'll have to go. I just deleted the email with the video. Hold on 1 second. Where is my deleted videos? Trash. Let me see here. Hold on just 1 second. The heel. Here we go. All right. I don't remember exactly where it was at. Let me get the video pulled back up here, because I thought that's what I heard, but let's see. I heard 4 cases were carried to. It would be crazy not to have met her. That's what I was thinking too. The amazing tip, but a lot of people were saying that Kara had never met her. All right, so 1 second. I'm fixing to pull it back up here. Tree baby, how are you? All right, so I'm just going to go to the part where Bryan is at. I don't know exactly where it's at, where Bryan said it. Y'all just want to listen to the whole part where Bryan was talking? And Tree baby, you're very welcome. Okay, 1 second, white little baby, and let me get it pulled back up here for y'all. See, I think he said extensive relationship. Okay. Give me 1 second. Was she appointed or did she volunteer? Cindy, I believe she was appointed. And Megatruth, you're very welcome. Oh, and Cheryl, yes, about his son Buster being there. I actually have a picture that was screenshotted today of Buster sitting in the courtroom that I'm going to show y'all here in just a little while. All right, so I'm going to play it back from where Bryan Enton starts talking because there's no point of listening to the first part of it. And then once we get to that part where he says, you know, about a meeting or whatever it was that he said there, then I'll end the video there. Because there's no point in listening to the whole thing after that.
On this and more developments in the quadruple Idaho murder case, Bryan, walk us through what we've learned. I know there's been a lot of updates on how much content or contact, at least one directional contact between Kohberger and the victims, that he had been in their DMs on Instagram, although maybe they hadn't seen them. And now this attorney wrinkle. Update us.
Yeah, the attorney situation is interesting. Basically, Xana Kernodle's mom, who you just saw there, who has had a history, which she talks about, of, you know, drug issues and has been in and out of jail and been arrested several times, had Ann Taylor, the public defender, as her lawyer. And you know, it was apparently like they knew each other. They met many times. Xana's mom claims that Ann Taylor had power of attorney over her to help.
Okay, so he did say that they knew each other and met many times. That's interesting. Because like I said, everybody was saying that, or not everybody, but a lot of people were saying that they had never met, or that Ann had never met with her. But I would think, and that's what I was thinking from the beginning when people started saying that just because, you know, Ann was her court appointed attorney, she would have still had to have met with her, especially if there was a deal for her to go, you know, she goes to court, instead of her going to jail, she would go to rehab. Seems like they would have had to have met in order to make that deal. Okay, so they met many times. Yeah, he says that they knew each other and had met with each other. Yeah. I'm gonna back that up, y'all, one more time. Make sure that I did hear that. All right, give me just a second here. Hey, J-Luck, how are you? See, I should not be here as I have a lot of writing, but I thought I would join in to hear this. Well, J-Luck, thank you for joining us. Okay, so I'm going to back this up just a little bit, y'all, and we're going to listen to this again. And then I'll move on to the other video about Ann Taylor with the other parents.
To fill us in on this and more developments in the quadruple Idaho murder case, Bryan, walk us through what we've learned. I know there's been a lot of updates on how much content or contact, at least one directional contact between Kohberger and the victims, that he had been in their DMs on Instagram, although maybe they hadn't seen them, and now this attorney wrinkle. Update us.
Yeah, the attorney situation is interesting. Basically, Xana Kernodle's mom, who you just saw there, who has had a history, which she talks about, of drug issues and has been in and out of jail and been arrested several times, had Ann Taylor, the public defender, as her lawyer. And it was apparently like they knew each other. They met many times. Xana's mom claims that Ann Taylor had power of attorney over her to help her get into rehab at one point. So it was.
Okay, so yeah, they've met many times. Okay. Yeah, so that, I mean, it makes sense. Sammy, you have reached your salt intake level for today. Let's see, I think the public defender knew that she would have at least withdrawn herself a long time ago. Okay. All right, so yeah, so that's what he says. That Kara and Ann Taylor met many times and knew each other. So, and maybe, and he even said it there, that Kara is saying that she had power, that she gave him power of attorney. And if they've known each other for a while, especially if she's been the only attorney that Kara's had throughout all of her arrest and court dates and all this and that, Kara probably trusted her a good bit. Wasn't Kara arrested for being a drug dealer? Tammy, I think her charge was trafficking, I believe. No, Jayla, yeah, she's still Bryan Kohberger's attorney. All right, let me grab this other video now, because this other one is an interesting one. Okay, and yeah, Cheryl, yeah, nobody's getting, I can understand a spouse or something like that, getting power of attorney, you giving them power of attorney or whatever. I can understand that, but I don't know about an attorney getting a power of attorney. Mom of 3 boys, how are you? Okay, and I believe on Banfield she said 4 times she represented her. Yeah, I think her charges, though, I think whenever I looked her up on VineLink, 2015, I believe, was like her first charge. This is important because she may have dealt with drugs. Oh, Tammy, you think? Tammy C. I'm sorry, we got 2 Tammys in here. Okay, do we know if Xana had ever had a relationship with her mother? Tammy, allegedly they were estranged from each other. I don't know for how long. I don't know if it's been since Xana was little, or if at one point, or even when Xana passed, if she had any type of relationship. Even if they were estranged, I mean, I would think that Kara still loves Xana, no matter what. It's her mom. So this whole situation is just, it's sad. And Tammy, you're very welcome, honey. Okay, and it was said from another attorney, Scott Reich from what's his Crime Talk. He's a really good dude too. I like watching his stuff. He did say, and he's a defense attorney, and he did say that it wouldn't be a conflict of interest because she's not, Ann Taylor is not representing them both on the same case. So, and if y'all don't watch Crime Talk or with Scott Reich, y'all should check him out. Like I said, he's got a really good channel. Rich Buddy, how are you? Okay, so I got this other video now, y'all. And this is the one that says 3 parents of two Idaho stabbing victims had the same attorney as Kohberger. And like I said, I do remember someone saying this in the chat a few minutes ago. I don't remember who it was, like right whenever I first went live, and they were talking about this. And I told them that I hadn't heard that yet, but here's the video. All right, so let me get it. Did I share it? No, I haven't shared it. I'm slacking tonight, y'all. Scott Ash, how are you? Let's see. Of course, that's her daughter. No matter what drugs do the person to the person who drugs. And mom of 3 boys. Yes, that is true. It's the drugs that take over. And her and Xana look so much alike. Wait, why is my chat jumping here? What the heck is going on? Hold on, y'all, 1 second. And Philly Sports, thank you so much for gifting the 5 memberships. And it won't. Why is it not coming up on my thing so I can? Okay, y'all give me a second here because StreamYard is not wanting to act right. Give me just a second. I don't know why it's not showing up on my StreamYard. But Philly Sports, thank you so much for that. That was very nice of you. And I'm trying to pull it up on. Why is it not showing up in my thing, though? That is weird. Okay. All right. Okay, well, Philly, I was going to pull it up on the screen, but I don't know why it's not showing up in my... on my StreamYard chat for me to pull it up on screen, but thank you so much. That was very nice of you. Wait, it's on the screen? No, Emerald Queen, it's where my StreamYard chat. I have to use it in order to pull stuff up on the screen. But it didn't show up in my StreamYard chat where he had gifted them. I always like to pull it up on screen. Okay. Oh, the video? No, I was talking about where Philly had gifted the memberships. That's what I was wanting to pull up. Like how I do, like how I got White Widow Babies thing pulled up there. But if for some reason it wasn't, it didn't go in my chat. So, but like I said, Philly, thank you so much. That was very nice. Okay, so she want to see what's on YouTube. No, will it matter to her? Okay. Green lights. Okay, I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody real quick. All right. Gregory. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and play this one. So like I said, this is the one that says 3 parents of 2 Idaho stabbing victims had the same attorney as Kohberger.
Pack here, obviously. Unfortunately, we've got 2 of the best people to help me do that. Stacey Honowitz is a 34-year veteran of the Florida State Attorney's Office and the supervisor of the Sex Crimes and Child Abuse Unit. Ken Belkin is New York's criminal defense attorney. He currently gets cases assigned to him by a judge, and he defends them. He is on the assigned counsel panel. Stacey, as the prosecutor, I'd like you to go first here. Do you expect that the prosecutor in this particular case is going to put forth a motion pretty quickly to try to sort all of this out?
Well, I mean, you've covered it all in the very beginning. You've covered every issue that has to go on in this case, and it's about this conflict. So it's very rare that you see the prosecutor come forward and say there's a conflict, because we generally don't ever know about it. It's different in this case because everybody knows about it. You normally see the defense attorney come into court and tells the court, you need to assign a special public defender because we have a conflict. They are always the one that brings it up because, again, the prosecutor doesn't know anything, doesn't know the relationship between the clients, doesn't know how long they've met with the client, if they even met with the client. You know, you have to remember, in the public defender's office, just like in the state attorney's office, the cases are assigned. So we don't know, once that case was assigned, did that person actually go and see the client? Is it just a name on the list now that it's going to be a potential client? But in this case, evidently, she did spend time with this mother because she turned over some kind of power of attorney. She asked her to help her get into rehab. And so a prosecutor is going to say there is a conflict because that's a witness for me. And there's special confidences that you might know. And now you're representing the person that killed her daughter. So yes,
it's also,
I mean,
you know, Stacey, it's also just like the smell test too, right? Like everything that you just said, yes, but also just the smell test of pristine justice. And maybe, Ken, you can jump in here as well. Yesterday, I said it was 1 parent that had been represented by Ann Taylor. Now it's 3 parents of the deceased, of the murder victims, being represented by Ann Taylor, who's representing the murder defendant. So it gets worse. But I do have to ask you about the public defender system, because I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. I thought maybe it was just a mix up with the name Kara Northington, not Kernodle. And it turns out the warrant says Kara Kernodle. Very unique name, not easy to forget. But there are only 13 of these death qualified public defenders in the state of Idaho. So take me from there and tell me where all of this could be an innocent mistake.
Well, sure. And this is what we call the appearance of impropriety. It's not clear a conflict exists, but it appears like there's something improper going on here. She represents the mother of a victim that was murdered by a man she now represents. Not only that, she represented that mother, 2 mothers, in fact, but one of those mothers she represented on 4 cases, one of which was currently pending now. A potential conflict has arisen. The person who potentially murdered her daughter is being hauled before the court, and she's been potentially being assigned to that case. What she should have done was to decline that representation. She did something the opposite. She's put in a notice of withdrawal of the victim's mother's case, which is totally improper, because if a potential conflict arises, it doesn't mean the lawyer is served with a menu of options they can choose which client to represent. Conflict of interest laws are in place because there is a relationship already. There is an attorney-client relationship. Confidences have been conveyed. There is confidential material that's been shared, and you don't want to betray those confidences. You don't get to pick and choose which case you take on a conflict of interest. You stay with the existing relationship, and you would decline the new one. That is the proper thing to do here, which it appears she did the exact opposite.
And Stacey, just weigh in again on how serious this is, right? Like, as I understand it, every jurisdiction is a little different. The judge could pull them in to chambers and say, tell me everything before this gets out in public. And I want to know every single meeting that you had with these 3 parents. But you tell me how it works.
Well, listen, every jurisdiction is different, and they won't handle it the best way that they possibly can. But this is now on the news every single, it's been headlined all day today. So something has to take place. You're talking about a capital murder case, and everything you said is correct. You want to go in with clean hands. You don't want to try this case all over again. The worst thing you can do is to have the lawyer go in, try this case. And we knew that these conflicts existed. So a myriad of things can happen. The prosecutor can take it upon himself to say, listen, judge, what's going on here? We need to have a hearing. You will have an in-camera hearing, because nobody will ever be able to know what those confidences were unless the judge orders her to disclose who she spoke to and when and for how long. But the defense attorney is 100% right. It is the appearance.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find.
Okay. Hey, Huda, how are you? And real quick, I've said this many, many times. Please do not come into my chats disrespecting the victims' families. I'm not going to have that here. And Werewolf Queen, I got your email, honey. Thank you. Wait, who sent this to me? King Scarlet, I got yours as well. Thank you for that. And yes, that screenshot that you sent me, that's ridiculous. Simple Butterfly, I also got yours about Lori Vallow, and I will check it out here in a little bit. Because Lori Vallow and her attorneys, they're trying to get her case thrown out. And Sama too, I don't know. I don't know why people feel the need to go into a chat room that's talking about this and just be disrespectful to the victims' families. I don't understand that. Huda, yes, ma'am, I'm doing good. Thank you. I mean, these families have enough to deal with. And a lot of the victims' families are in these chat rooms. Hey, Vapor, how are you? Some of them watch YouTube and watch what goes on in Facebook and all this and that. And they have enough going on. They don't need to come in and see people saying stuff like that. That's Kaylee's dad, and he has a right to say whatever he feels with this case. He lost a child. Rich, you got timed out because you were in here disrespecting the victims' families. Like I said, they have enough going on. They don't need to come in the chat rooms and watch videos and see stuff like that. That's been a rule like since day one. Hey, Laura, how are you? And thank you, White Widow Baby. Yeah, they're Lori Vallow's attorney. And Tree Baby, you're welcome. Lori Vallow's attorney is trying to get her case thrown out, saying, hey, must have got lost. How are you? Because I forgot exactly how they put it, but she didn't get a speedy trial. And so now her attorney has filed a motion to have the case dismissed. And it's actually scheduled. I actually wrote it down. They've actually scheduled it. They did a notice of hearing set for February the 9th at 9:30 to try to get it thrown out. Which I don't think that'll happen, but Let's see. I'm sorry, but what in the actual is going on in this month between killing and court case is just chaos. Mom of 3 boys. It's a lot to keep up with. Because I mean, like I said, we got the Murdock case going on, and then his is supposed to stop, or it's supposed to end by February the 10th. Bryan's hasn't even gotten started yet. And then after the Murdock case, we got the Vallow and Daybell case. Oh, and I also did see that Harmony Montgomery, the little girl, she was actually missing for several years, but she hadn't been reported missing until her mom reported her missing. Well, they actually charged her dad, Adam, with second-degree murder in her death. So I saw that today on Twitter. Let's see. Still wish there were answers in the Haley Cummins case, even though it's obvious. I'm trying to Scott, I've heard of that one, but I didn't follow it, so I don't know a whole lot about it. Brian Walsh just on early. Oh, I forgot about the Walsh case. And Philly Sports, thank you so much for the super chat. And he says, Xana's mom, I am so sorry. Yes, she is. That's a sad situation. And now there's 2 more parents that this attorney has represented. But I wonder if Ann Taylor has represented the other 2 parents as much as she has Xana's mom. Because the way Brian Enton was talking in that one video from Heal, I mean, he just came out and said they knew each other and had met many times. Okay, Werewolf Queen, I'll check it 1 second, honey. Thank you. And like I said, I believe Kara's first charge was, or first court dealings, I believe, was back in 2015. So if Anne has dealt with her since 2015, hey, Satin Bee, how are you? Then that's going on 8 years that they've had this relationship. And Tree Baby, that's what I was saying earlier. Like, she has a lot on her. Like, I get, the drug stuff. Werewolf Queen, you're welcome. I just hope that she gets help. Because I would hate for it to turn out to be something worse y'all know what I'm trying to say. Like, something bad happens to her, and I don't want that to happen. And Miss Honeypenny, how are you? Okay, so lesson learned, Idaho, don't use the death penalty defenders for day-to-day drug cases. They only... I'm just trying to... All right, so I'm going to throw out the link real quick if anybody wants to come up and give their thoughts and opinions on the Kohberger stuff before I jump over to the Murdock stuff. B, I am too. Like I said, she has all these cases, all the court dates. Her daughter has now been murdered, on top of her attorney dropping her for the person who, even if she couldn't help it, even if the attorney had no other choice, she had to do it. It's still a lot. So I hope that it nothing bad happens to her. P Fox, how are you? Let's see. In my opinion, the gag order is making everything worse. Also, shame on the reporter for interviewing Xana's mother, knowing that there is a gag order. The parents, though, are not on the gag order. But like I said, also, and some people may think that Ashley doesn't. Okay, wait, little baby, that's fine. Some people may think that Ashley Banfield don't care about her, but Ashley's got pull. If she really did care about her, she would try to get her help. And yeah, B, that is true. It's pressure, it's grief, it's sadness, it's anger, it's probably betrayal. It's it's a lot on her. See, didn't Bryan say the gag order is on her for anyone close to the case? What about parents? Satin B, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was very nice of you. Yeah, denial, betrayal. She's probably got a lot going on in her mind right now. And they're saying that she's missing, like they don't know where she's at. I wouldn't say missing, but missing where they don't know where she's at, and she's got a warrant for her. So you add that to it, if that is true, it's a lot. Y'all just keep her in your prayers, honestly. Banfield did a video about an hour ago about her interviewing her. Yeah, mom of 3 boys. Actually, I played that one earlier. Scott Black, how are you? Yeah. So I'm saying she's got a lot. But at the same time, I know she's got a lot, but she does need to get all of her cases taken care of. And if she really wants to get into rehab, she needs to do that. Let's see, JLR found 2 warrants. Yeah, let me see. I've got the thing. Let me see if I still got it on here real quick. I've got it in one of my folders. And I showed it the other night. I just got to remember where I put it at. Because if you go to the website, I think this is it right here. Okay, Crime Crazy. Let me check it real quick while I'm pulling this up also. Okay, I'm gonna pull this up too. Thank you, Crime Crazy. That way I don't have to go searching for it. Tammy, you have a wonderful night, and thank you for coming and hanging out with us for a little while. Let's see, I think under the circumstances, if she asks for help and to be put in rehab, any judge would help. But if she doesn't do something that, yes, and 9mm, that is true. She needs to go in. I think she would, like you're saying, she would probably be better off. I'm going to put the link up here one more time. She would be better off if she just went in, she explained the situation. Because she has a new attorney. Just go in with him, explain the situation. The courts know the situation. And really mean that, she wants to go to rehab. Hold on, let me get this pulled up here real quick. And I'm going to pull the gag order up. Cheryl, I think she was. So it looked like she had a seatbelt and everything on. So yeah, she probably was. Big Al, how are you? All right, so here's the thing for Kara. Let's see. Does anyone know, because it's a gag order on the case, can the Washington police still state whether or not Kohberger worked for them because they haven't said he didn't? I would think with the gag order, they would be included in the gag order. They wouldn't, Crime Crazy? I don't know. But anyway, this is the thing for Kara. She's got the 2 charges here. Like I said, honestly, she would be better off if she went and spoke with the new attorney that she has, went with the attorney to the court, explained the situation. Like I said, they already know the situation with what happened with the kids and everything. And let them know that she does want to go to rehab. I think it would be better off instead of running and waiting. And I think the longer she waits, the worse it's going to be. Okay, so let me grab the gag order real quick. Okay. All right, and Crumb Crazy even put a nice red box around it for me. Okay, let me grab. Hold on, y'all. Let me rename it real quick. I mean, Cheryl, she does have an addiction. Some people are scared, you know, whenever they have an addiction, they're scared to get help because of the detox part of it. The sickness part of it. And that could be what, you know, what scares her. And maybe she just doesn't know how to cope with everything. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm gonna have to zoom in. So this is the amended non-dissemination order. Yeah, I've watched a lot of different. I forgot what the one show was from Florida that they had, and a lot of them, like they would help them get into rehab, and a lot of the addicts said that was what they feared the most, was the withdrawal part of it. All right, so let me zoom out. Okay, so the amended one in the red box, it says, it is hereby ordered that the attorneys for any interested party in the case, including the prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, and any attorney representing a witness, a victim, or the victim's family, as well as the parties to the above entitled action, including but not limited to investigators, law enforcement personnel, and agents for the prosecuting attorney or defense attorney are prohibited from making extrajudicial statements, whether it's written or oral, concerning the case, except without additional comment, a quotation from or reference to the official public record of the case. So that is, let me go up just a little bit more. And this number 2 just says that this order specifically prohibits any statement which is with a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communications that relates to and then it has like this whole thing down here at the bottom. All right, and can everybody see that okay, the way I have it on the screen? Let's see, I had an ex-brother-in-law was into drugs, only made it to 44. Yeah. Hey, Julie Lee, how are you? Let's see, it's rough. I've been off opiates for 2 years now. Coming off was the worst sickness I ever had. Yeah, and that could be what she's scared of. It's the sickness part of it, you know, and like I said, we don't know what type of support system she has. Hey, Anthony, how are you? We don't know what type of support system she has. We really don't know nothing about her side of the family. Xana had a sister, Jasmine, but I don't think Jasmine talks to her. You know, maybe that all plays into it. And then maybe she doesn't know how to deal with it unless there's drugs involved, which is, it's sad. So y'all just keep your prayer, keep praying for her that she does get help. Because like I said, I would hate for something bad to happen to her. All right, so yeah, if y'all haven't done so, please go hit the thumbs up. See, I lived in a shelter when I was homeless, and they had addiction place on the second floor. Yeah, it's a sad situation, y'all. All around it is, honestly. Oh, Philly, hold on. I didn't know you were back here. Okay, can you hear me?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Yeah, I just wanted to say that we appreciate what the excuse me,
Mm-hmm.
the video that you put on last night with Xana's mom and uh, being interviewed on Bryan Enton.
Right.
Like, I feel so bad for that lady. I really do. I
I do
mean,
too.
it's so terrible. I mean, she literally just lost her daughter a month
Mm-hmm.
ago, and she's dealing with addiction, and it's a shame. It's
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, she's got all of these arrests, and then she's got all these court dates, and then she has the addiction, which just the addiction by itself is a lot to deal with. Um,
right.
then this happens to Xana, and then her attorney, and whether her attorney had to do it or she had no choice or whatever, it's still, I'm sure, is on her mind. Um, and she probably isn't thinking clearly,
But
because
that even like makes it worse. Like
right. Yeah,
that was her. I'm sorry, I'm interrupt you, but
no,
like
you're fine.
that was her attorney for like what was she have like 4 court cases or 4
Yeah,
charges?
I think Bryan Enton said it was 4 cases that Ian Taylor has represented her on, and I want to say that when I looked on Violent the other day at her stuff, and I believe it went back all the way to like 2015. I believe I'll have to go back and look. But Bryan Enton did say on the one that I played tonight with the Hill, he said that she knew her. They had met several times, and Kara, Xana's mom, is saying that she give them. She said Ann Taylor, but it could have been like the public defender's office. Um, that she gave them power of attorney over her, and they were supposed to help her get into
Right.
rehab and all that. But I'm sure the rehab part of it was probably a type of plea deal where, okay, you come into court, you don't go to jail, but in order to not go to jail, you got to go to rehab. And she ended up missing court, which also could play into, um, what happened with Xana, the addiction. I've watched several shows about addiction, and all the addicts say what they fear the most in getting clean is the sickness. And
Right.
the detox and the withdrawals, and that's what scares them the most.
But
And
like you give somebody power of attorney, and they literally like she gave her power of attorney, so she basically gave away all her rights in a
yeah,
sense.
right.
And then 4 different, court cases later, you're gonna drop her. So what does what is she feeling? Like,
Yeah, it's probably it's I can't imagine what's going through her mind, especially with the addiction, because the addiction's not
right,
helping that part of it. That's just, you know, I I don't know what it's like to be an addict, but I can just imagine what type of mind tricks that's playing,
right.
with
You
the whole
lost your
thing.
daughter and you're an addict and
Right.
you just lost your lawyer.
Right. Who is and what's
So who's protecting you? Nobody.
right. Well, I mean, she has another attorney, but I don't think it would have been as bad if it wouldn't have if her attorney that she's had for so long basically, and I'm going to say she dropped her because that's pretty much what she did, whether she had to do
Right.
it or, had no choice or whatever, but she basically dropped her. And then on the same day that letter was put out, she starts representing the person who was accused of
Right.
murdering her daughter. That by itself,
It's disgusting.
yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah.
And it just, like I said, there's no telling what's going through that lady's mind. That's why I say I hope that she's rather sooner than later she gets help so nothing bad happens to her. Because, we, like I said, we don't know what her support system's like. We don't know what's going through her mind. We don't know if she deals with things by using drugs, that, and it could cause something like an overdose, which I pray to the good Lord that it doesn't. And I just think that she needs to go into the court with her new attorney, explain the situation, and just be like, look, y'all already know, like there's no way the courts up there don't know what happened to the kids in
Right.
Moscow. But just go in and be like, that was my daughter. My daughter was one of the victims. And I'm here. I apologize. Hey, D22, I apologize that I skipped court and that I haven't taken care of my stuff, because she still needs to take care of that too. In order for her life to get better, she's going to have to take care of all these court cases. Because if not, she's always going to have those hanging over her head as well. But if she can go in and explain to the court and try to get into rehab and make her life better, they would probably sympathize with her.
Right.
And give her a chance.
That's why I appreciate the video that you put out yesterday, because like this lady's going through so much.
Right.
And she literally just lost her daughter 2 months ago, and
Yeah.
she's hanging on from a thin thread. Like, I mean, you watched the video yesterday.
Yeah, it's very sad seeing her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say what it looks like or whatever, but like,
Right.
it's a shame, and we all feel bad for her.
Mhm. Yeah, like Huda said in the chat, she needs to take accountability first. Yeah, she needs to get her cases. She needs to get them taken care of. And
Yeah.
hey Nori, how are you? She needs to get that taken care of, because like I said, that's the only way she's going to get any better. Because if she goes to rehab and let's say she gets clean, okay, that would be wonderful. But she still got the court cases, and that's enough stress right there to cause someone to relapse. And that's something that you don't want to happen.
Yeah.
So Truth and Transparency said that she would help Kara with food or a place to stay. That was very nice of her. Yeah, I don't know if she's homeless or not. I've seen someone else ask that. I don't know if she is or not, or who she's staying with, or anything like that. I just she needs help, y'all. She needs prayers. Like all of the victims' families need prayers, but she's whether she's got charges like this or not, it doesn't matter. She still lost her daughter, and I've seen a lot of people on Facebook just saying disgusting things about her, and I'm just like, she's not the only addict in the world. She's not the only person who's done wrong. She's not the only person who skipped court. She ain't the only person who's got warrants.
Right.
She's still human.
Yeah, and unless you're an addict yourself, like you don't understand what that is. You don't understand that world.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what it's like to be like that. I've watched a lot of different shows. And I can't remember the name of the show though that they had in Florida. That it was 2 or 3 recovering addicts that were running this program where they help other addicts get into into rehab. They give them, it's like a scholarship type thing, and they're able to get them into rehab. But all of those, that they try to help, they all say the same thing, that it's the sickness is what they're mostly scared of. And Werewolf Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. And she says, give something nice for Xana's mom, please. Well, that is very nice of you, honey. Thank you. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if Ashley.
Most of them can't help it. I mean, so I had I was in a band for a while, and the one guitar player in our band had his brother.
Mhm.
He broke his I don't know, he broke a bone in his leg, and he was like, oh yeah, they're giving me pain pills for like 5 days. Totally
Yeah.
normal dude, like totally like smart dude, had no issues, in his like mid-20s or whatever, and he took those pills, and like for the next 5 or 10 years he's stealing items out of his neighbors' garages
All right.
because they can't help it. It's a sickness. They can't help it. Whatever they have to do, and
Yeah.
it's a shame.
They will do whatever they need to do in order to get whatever their drug of choice is, whether
Right.
it's stealing from their parents, a neighbor, lying, whatever it takes to get it, they're going to do it.
Yep. They're friends. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
And I have family members who are addicts, and you would be amazed at what they can come up with in their mind in order to get what they need to not
Yeah.
be sick. It's crazy. Just something that they can think up in their mind just to make the lie sound credible.
Yep.
In order, thinking that you're going to believe them. And it's a sad situation.
Yeah.
All the way
It's a
around.
shame. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be like this heavy on your channel. Like,
No, you're fine.
okay.
It's just it is Huda. It's heartbreaking.
That's why when like you put that video of Xana yesterday, or Xana's mom yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and she's literally fighting so hard to have a straight face on national TV.
Yeah.
And she's trying so hard, and I felt like I wanted to cry. Like I felt so bad for her.
Like, yeah, she was wanting to break down, but she wouldn't. Yeah. And Lawnmower Man, yeah, that is true. He Alex Murdock was an addict too. He was actually, I believe he was still in rehab whenever they arrested him. He was in a rehab in Florida. But yeah, he I don't know, this whole Idaho case, it's like you wouldn't think that there's something else crazy is going to come out, and then something else crazy comes out.
Yeah.
Oh, see, Penny said someone mentioned. Wait, let me go back and grab this one. Someone mentioned it would have been to hear that the other family members reached out to Kara, but it's so hard for all of them. Okay.
Well, I'll drop down. I'm sorry. I just.
Oh no, you're fine. No, you're good.
Okay.
White Widow Baby said, "Where is Philly from? It sounds like he's got an East Coast accent." So
Yeah.
White Widow Baby was wondering where you were from because of your accent.
Yeah, I'm right outside Philadelphia.
Okay. Jasmine. Yeah, and Huda makes a good point too. Xana's sister Jasmine, and that was another thing. Uh, but I'm gonna go over Huda's comment real quick. She said, I feel bad for Jasmine. Imagine your mom in that sad state, and she lost her baby sister. That is true, Huda. But did y'all know that after when the murders happened, Bryan goes back to WSU, and Xana's sister was also at WSU.
Yes. Yeah.
She was literally at the same college.
Yeah, and she said that last night on the video you shared.
That is, I couldn't imagine y'all.
I was like, literally, like you're
She was there with the guy who murdered her little sister, and nobody even knew who he was.
so your previous lawyer is now representing Bryan Kohberger, and your sister or your daughter is currently at WSU where Bryan Kohberger
Right?
is at. Like,
Yes,
are you kidding me?
that is crazy. I I, I wonder if he knew. And who just saying she says she's sure he knew, but I wonder if he knew that she was there, that Jasmine was at that college with him, because
Yeah.
if he, y'all, that's putting her in danger. That's if I would have been Xana and Jasmine's dad, I'd have been like, no, you got to come home.
Right.
Like, there's a person up there who has murdered your sister. We don't know where he's at or who he is. You're only 9 miles down the road. Like, you need to come home. Because that is
It's
crazy.
scary. It's scary. Yeah.
Like I said, this case it's crazy, and when you don't think anything else crazier can come out, something else crazy comes out. So I'm
Yeah.
to the point where, like, if when the
That's why
craziness,
when you posted that video last night, I was like, wait, there's more? Are you serious?
I
Like,
know it was. When I read the probable cause, and we learned in that PCA that Dylan was on the second floor, I was just like, oh my God. And then I get to the part where, they're talking about she doesn't call for 7.5 hours, 8 hours. I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's just, and then he's been around, like Huda said, he was around that house for, 12
yeah.
different times that they said. So just with that, yeah, like she's saying, he did his homework, he did his research, he knew, hey, the Krista, he more than likely knew that Xana had a sister that went to school over
Yeah.
there,
But good
which is
point. Good point.
just
And you've been saying this for weeks. That 8 hours, we're gonna learn a lot in June or whenever this trial starts. What
right,
happened in those 8 hours. Because we're not getting the whole story.
exactly. And it's gonna blow our minds. We're gonna be speechless. We're gonna be like, oh my God. And then we're gonna be like, it doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Because honestly, when it comes out, I'm not gonna be surprised by the craziness. And Huda, yes, Jasmine and Xana, they looked alike. And Xana, to me, looked a lot like her mom. Like, she favors her mom a lot, I think, more than Jasmine does.
I haven't seen the picture of Jasmine.
She looks a
First.
lot like Xana.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and y'all, I can't wait for June to get here.
So
Literally.
is June when the trial starts, or is June when they decide when the trial starts?
As of right now, the preliminary hearing is scheduled for June the 26th.
Okay.
So, unless they go in and do the whole, was it the grand jury thing? As of right now, it'll be June 26th. So honestly, I can't wait because, we've invested a lot of people have invested a lot of
A
time and
lot of
energy
time. Yep.
and research and digging and all that. We want to know why
And
he
we
did this.
and we know there's so much more detail
Yes. And
that
I'm a very impatient person, and when I look for something and I can't find it, uh, it irritates me, and so I'm waiting.
I understand.
Let's see. Update in response to discovery.
All right. Well, I'm gonna drop down. I appreciate you
Okay.
talking to me, and
Oh, you're very welcome, and thank you so
thank
much
you.
for that super chat and those gifted memberships. That was very nice of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate. I think everybody here appreciates everything you do,
Oh,
and
thank you.
as cliche as it sounds, your voice still puts me to sleep, and all of this. So,
A lot of people say that.
all right. Thank you. Have a good
All right.
night.
You're welcome. You have a good night as well.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see. I gotta catch back up. Hopefully, we'll get some juicy leaks. It would be nice, Lawnmower Man, but with the gag order the way it is, I don't know. It would be nice, y'all, if there wasn't a gag order and we were still getting updates every now and then from the Moscow Police Department and all that. Scott, I'm your Valentine. You better take that up with Troll. And thank you, Sandra. All right, so yeah, if anybody wants to come up real quick, let me get the link before, if y'all got anything to thoughts, opinions, theories, speculations, whatever it is with Brian's case or, with Xana's mom or just any of it that has to do with the Idaho kids, you're more than welcome to grab a link and come up. Well, yeah, Linda, that is true. The leaks do compromise the case. But it would be nice to know some information though, honestly. It really would. There's a lot of questions that we still don't have answers to. Let's see. I want to make sure that I haven't missed anyone either. And if I have missed anyone, just came in chat and I haven't said hi, I do apologize, but thank you for coming in. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead. Well, I'm waiting to see if anyone's going to come up, and we'll go ahead and grab my stuff for the Murdock case. Wait, I thought the chat was mocking me slow mode as it wasn't playing. It's slow. Oh no, Big Al, I always have to put it on slow mode now. Hey Vaughn. And it's easier to do it before I start the live, so I can go back in and do it while I'm live, but it's just easier. Oh, real quick while I'm thinking about it. Someone last night in chat had asked about if anyone knew where they can buy the bracelets that has the kids' names on it. I don't know if they're in here tonight, but if anybody wants the link, I do have the link to where you can go to buy the bracelets. So I'm grabbing that link right now. And I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was that had asked about it. But someone had sent the link to me last night. Sinful Butterfly. Okay. Is Sinful Butterfly still in here? Dang it. Let me just grab the link like this. Oh, Huda, I hope we do though. Okay, Simple Butterfly. I'm gonna drop a link in the chat for you. And it's a link to the Idaho News. It's to a news station. But it's got like a little article below the picture, and then it says you can buy bracelets here, and it has the link that takes you to where to buy. So I'm gonna drop that in chat. Y'all, I literally thought I just clicked off of my StreamYard. I almost kicked myself out again. Okay, so there's a link to it if anybody wants it. Like I said, underneath the picture of the bracelets, there's like a little small article, and then it has right below the article, you can buy the bracelets here, and just click on the word here, and it takes you to it. And I forgot who sent that to me last night while I was live, but thank you for sending that to me. Okay. Let me move that. I gotta move stuff around here, y'all. Okay, I think Ann Taylor needs to recuse herself, or else she will risk BK getting his conviction overturned. Yeah, Lawnmower Man. I mean, if there's a chance that can happen, I think that she should. I mean, there's other, and I understand she may be the only one in Northern Idaho, but there are other attorneys in the state that is qualified to take his case, whether it's from a different part of the state or not. I mean, they could, I'm sure, hand his case over to another attorney. Simple Butterfly, it says that it does. That and I believe it says it. Hold on, let me grab the link again and pull it up. I believe it does say that the proceeds go to it. Yeah, University of Idaho bracelet proceeds go to the memorial for the murdered students. And then I'll go ahead and read it to everybody, just in case not everybody's clicking on the link. Okay, thank you, Crime Crazy. Okay, I'm going to pull it up here real quick. Okay. Okay, if they have him dead to rights, like they act like they do, why keep everything so secretive? P Fox, I'm kind of curious if there's like someone else that they're looking at who, you know, maybe like a co-defendant or something. I don't know. They've got a reason why they're keeping it so quiet though. All right, so this is the website, and it just says at the top, University of Idaho bracelet proceeds go to the memorial for the murdered students. I don't know what type of, like, are they going to do like a memorial type thing like they did for the other student who was murdered by the professor, or what they're going to do. But it says down here, Moscow, Idaho, the University of Idaho is offering Vandal Strong bracelets for purchase online. Proceeds will support a memorial for Kaylee, Maddie, Xana, and Ethan, the 4 students who were found dead November the 13th. And then you can buy the bracelets here. And I'm clicking on the link to see. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. I had to hurry up and get to the mute button because I had to sneeze. Okay, let me get this one down, and then I'm going to pull up this other page real quick where it's showing the bracelets. Okay, I would venture to guess that they just want to be sure not to screw anything up before the trial because they are going after the death penalty. Yeah, I mean, if that's, I hope that's what they're doing, Big Al. because Lord knows, I don't think there's anybody out there that wants some type of something to happen and that him be able to get off. Okay, so this is the page where whenever you click here on the other page, it brings you to this website for the bracelets, and it's a pack of 4 for $6. So if anybody, wants to purchase them, the proceeds are going for their memorial. It's to build a memorial. Okay. So I may end up ordering some too. Just since the proceeds are going for that, and we spent so much time on this case, y'all. It's crazy. Mama Three Boys, that was Philly Sports. He had gifted some memberships earlier. All right, so that was the website. It has been, Crime Crazy said that she did post the link also in the Facebook group. And I have it saved. If anybody needs me to post it again or another night or anything like that, I can do that for y'all as well. Kohberger's docket is online to the Idaho court portal, but Kara Kernodle's docket is not. That's interesting. Okay, I saw there is an exclusive video that shows his alibi as a lie, and he feels like another motive is going to cut out. Wait, Scott, you're talking about Alec Murdock? Is that who you're talking about? Okay, attorney asked me this. What do you call 50 attorneys at the bottom of the ocean? Here's a plus. Good start. Okay, that is too funny, Gregory. Is the Tulip Bulb website available for Ethan? Oh, I watched that Simple Butterfly, and for those who don't know what Ethan Smiles is, Ethan used to work at a tulip farm, and there was some other younger kids that worked there with him, sure, probably about the same age as Ethan. And one of the boys that worked there wanted to do a type of memorial for Ethan. So they're supposed to, Simple Butterfly, do you know if it's supposed to be yellow and white tulips, right? That they're supposed to do in honor of Ethan. And they're also supposed to, I believe they said they were going to sell the bulbs. That way that, if anybody, yellow and white. Okay, I thought that's what it was. I watched the video, but it was on my TV, and that's a different YouTube account, so I don't have the link to it on here with this account. But I do remember seeing it. Let me see if I can find that website, y'all, because that would be another good thing. And I don't know what, do y'all happen to know what the website was? I wish I could remember it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. And then if I can, I will post that link as well. Let's see. I'm sorry, I had to sleep. Mama Three Boys, the bracelets it's just the black bracelets, and they're like the rubber bracelets, and they have each of the kids' names: Ethan, Xana, Maddie, and Kaylee. They're selling a 4-pack of them for $6, and all the proceeds that they get off of the bracelets are going to go towards the memorial being built for them at the college. And if you need me to, I can post the link to it again. Okay, thank you, Carrie. 1 second, y'all. Let me jump over to my other email and grab that link. Okay, White Widow Baby said that it's on Instagram, she believes. But I thought that was cool, though, the Ethan smiles that they're doing with the yellow and white tulips. Okay. And I'm going to mark this page. Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay, let me grab the link now. Okay, so here's the link for that. Will tulips grow in Colorado? I would think so. I mean, they have the tulip farm, I believe, where he worked at was in Washington. I would think they would grow. I don't know. I only know how to grow stuff in a garden. I don't really know a lot about flowers, honestly. All right, and I'm gonna pull. I'm gonna pull this website up as well. Okay, give me just 1 second. Okay, so the Krista said yes, they will grow in Colorado. Okay. All right, someone needs the bracelet link. All right, give me just 1 second. Let me go grab it. All right, here we go. I had to go find the email again. Tulip Valley Farms. Okay, thank you for that, Carrie. And I'm going to read the article about it here in just 1 second. I'm just grabbing this link real quick for the bracelets. Okay, I don't need that. I just need to link people. Okay. All right, so here is the link for the bracelets. And what, like I said, all you have to do is, it's an article. Well, wait, let me do something better than that. Hold on. I'm going to go grab the actual link. So that way nobody has to go to the news link and then over to the other ones. Okay, so here's the link right here that I'm posting. That's the actual link to the bracelets. Okay, so the Tulip Valley Farms link has been loaded to the Facebook group. Thank you, Crime Crazy. Hey, Doggone Crazy, how are you? Let's see. Huda says she is so ready for the 26th of June. Yes. And the case is becoming really unprofessional. It really is. Okay, so tulip plants only last me 2 weeks from when I buy them. 1 week before Easter and the week after. Yeah, Jen, I don't know nothing about growing flowers. Like I said, if it's vegetables in a garden, I'm good. But I don't know nothing about no flowers. Wait, what, baby? You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to read this real quick about the tulip thing. I just thought it was so cool that they were going to do it, for Ethan. Okay. Go all the way up. All right. So it says the Washington Tulip Farm to sell flowers in honor of the Idaho murder victim. And this was a place that he actually, that Ethan actually worked at before he went off to college. So it says Eastern Washington and Western Idaho were rocked when the 4 University of Idaho students were found murdered in a rented off-campus home. Even though a prime suspect is in custody, the wounds will be healing for the rest of eternity. And they do have some really pretty flowers. So it says Ethan Chapin, 20, was from Conway, Washington, and attended the University of Idaho in Moscow. While staying over at his girlfriend Xana Kernodle's, he was murdered along with Xana and 2 of her roommates. Chapin was a triplet and worked at the Tulip Valley Farms in Evergreen State. And now the Tulip Farm looks to memorialize Ethan with one of his favorite things in the world, which was tulips. So in late November, friends of Ethan's planted tulips. Reese Gardner told K5 that Ethan will always be here through the tulips. The new little garden is called Ethan's Smile and keeps his memory alive at Tulip Valley Farms, a place where Ethan loved working and loved being. Now Tulip Valley Farms is taking Ethan's blossoming memorial to the next step. Okay. And I believe this is what they're supposed to look like. The yellow and white ones. All right, and it says below the picture, it says, with the airing of the 48 Hours episode about the tragic murders at the University of Idaho, we've had some inquiries about purchasing the Ethan Smile Tulip Bulb Mix. Ethan Smile and the Forever Sisters mixes will be available for purchase through our website, which is, they're saying is being built as you read. And I didn't even look to see what the date was that this article was put out. And it says later this spring, we will provide more details, which date, cost, and shipping here on Facebook, Instagram, and our newsletter as the season progresses. And the proceeds from the sale, it's going to take me. Okay, well, if I click on that, it's going to take me to a different page. But they're saying that it will support something. So if y'all go to that page and you click underneath the yellow and white tulips, it'll say see more, and it'll take you over to Facebook. All right, so it says the Tulip Valley Farms took to Facebook to announce that their new Ethan's Smiles Bulb Mix, so friends, family, and other folks can remember Ethan. Proceeds from the sales will benefit other gardens in the state and will also go towards the scholarship funds in Ethan's name. So that's going to be what it was talking about underneath the picture. And Moonvale, thank you so much for becoming a member for 3 months. All right, so they're going to do the scholarship fund. So all of those proceeds will go towards the scholarship for in Ethan's name. Okay, and it says for those who can't make the drive, they will have their website ready to go in the near future with the ability to order online. All right, so yeah, that was the whole thing. So, you know, they're doing a good thing with that. It's going to benefit the other gardens in the state and also go towards the scholarship. So they're doing good with that too. So I'm going to grab this link one more time, put it down in the chat. They are on Facebook. And let me see when this was written. See if it has it. Okay, so this was published on January the 9th. So they said that as we were reading it, so that would have been, I'm pretty sure they're still working on the website. But if you follow them on Facebook, then they should have updates about the website where you can order it. Miss Honeypenny, it really is. very nice of them. Let's see, we got a pickle. Okay. Now let me get back into my email. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I had on Bryan before I go over to the Murdock stuff. I don't think it was. I do want to pull this picture up though. This was a screenshot that I got. Is there more witness testimony happening? A lot more, man. Yes, it's supposed to resume at 9:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. America First, how are you? All right. So this is their son. Wait, that's not what I want. I want to share my screen, not the other. Okay, this is the Murdock's oldest son, Buster. Okay. So he's sitting in court. He's sitting behind his dad. I believe that's his aunt, Alex's sister, that's sitting by him. He's literally sitting there listening to all this stuff about his mom and his little brother and what happened to him. And he has no emotion on his face whatsoever. Like literally just stone cold. I'm trying to make sure I got everything. Can y'all see the picture okay? The amazing tip. Yeah, his hair, like both of those boys were, like their hair was fire red. Hey Molly, how are you? America First, you're very welcome, and I'm doing good, thank you. Yeah, he looks a lot like his dad. I don't think either one of them boys look like their mom. They both look like their dad, but it's weird how he's sitting in court behind his dad and he has no emotion when they're talking about what happened to his mom and his brother. Like, I don't understand some people how they don't have emotions. And a lot more men, they really do. But it's just weird how he's just sitting there. Now Alec was sitting in court today, and I've got a video to show about him crying, and when they were showing the body cam footage, they put, I don't know, it looked like the top of a box or something. I don't know if it was like a box lid or a binder or a white binder or something in front of the screen, because they have like the screen sitting on their tables, and they had it blocking the screen where Alec couldn't see the screen or whatever and what was being showed on it. And you could see the attorney sitting there and kind of like holding it to where he could see the screen. Simple Butterfly, I don't know. It's weird how he's just sitting there like that. Like if that was my mama, and if I had a brother or sister, or, my mom and my sibling, I would be upset. I don't think I'd even want to sit in the courtroom and listen to what happened to him. It's weird the lack of emotion that some people have. Just stone cold. It's crazy. All right. Let me get this off my screen. 1 second. I'm just going to get the next one. Let's see. I need to read about this. I have no idea what happened. Okay, so Jim J, you're talking about the Murdock case. Real quick, I can do like a real quick rundown. Back in a couple of years ago, 2019, I believe it was, the boy that I just had pulled up, so his younger brother, well, his family had actually went to an oyster rose. His little brother was in a boat with some friends. It was their family boat. And Irene, thank you so much for being a member for 3 months. And she says, sorry if I missed any hellos. Hands are bad tonight. Irene, that's perfectly fine, honey. And anyway, so they had in the boat, they had a cooler full of alcohol. And I think it was him, another friend, and several girls that was in there. On their way, they were going back home, and they were in the boat going, and they ended up stopping at a bar that was on the water. Him and the friend go in to the bar, drink or whatever, come back out on their way home, and it was dark, and he ended up hitting a channel marker, and it ended up, I can't remember if he hit the bridge piling as well as the channel marker, but either way, it threw the boat up onto the bank, and one of the girls got thrown out of the boat, and they didn't find her for, it's like a week or so later. And that kind of like started the whole unraveling of Alex Murdaugh's financial situation, because they were gonna, the family was gonna get sued and all this and that by the girl's family. The boy that was with them, they try to blame him. Come to find out it was Alex's son that was driving. But he didn't even spend any days in jail. They arrested him, they charged him, but he never, his entire family, like Alex Murdaugh's entire family is she was found in the marsh. But his entire family is attorneys. They basically ran that area for many, many years. So in June of 2021, his son Paul and his wife Maggie, they have like this big estate. It's like 1,700 acres. And they had some dog kennels. And his wife and his son were at the dog kennels. They were tending to the dog. His son was actually keeping a friend of his dog there. And somebody murdered both of them. And he ends up getting arrested for it. So that's what he's on trial for now. He actually has these two, he has the two murder charges. He has a weapons charge that has to do with the murders. And then he has 99 other charges that have to do with, hold on, I've got it wrote down exactly how they put it, but it's 99 other charges that he has to deal with after he deals with this. Yes, it's me. He's in South Carolina. And I was looking at the witness list earlier. There's like 200 and something witnesses. And his son and his brother, one of his brothers, is going to be a witness for the defense. His other brother, they have him for, I believe, on the state, a witness for the state. And yeah, they were both shot from behind. But I've read the papers of the state that both of their bodies were in. I won't show it on here because it's too graphic to show. But when they're talking about it in court, like, he is just literally I just don't understand it. He's not, it's like he's not even upset over his mom and his brother and what happened to him. Okay, give me a second, because I know I wrote that down about the other charges. But it has to do with it's financial charges. He basically schemed money out of people. Okay, 99 charges stemming from alleged financial crimes, is how they put it. And I still ain't figured out why they took the picture of his grandfather down out of the courtroom. I don't know what good that's going to do. All right, so let me see what I'm going to do here first. Yes, the other chargers are in the same state. He actually also had a housekeeper. Hey, Unsolved Cases and News, how are you? He had a housekeeper that worked for him for like 25 years. She was a housekeeper, maid, nanny. All this, like, she watched the boys grow up and everything. And hold on one second, y'all. I need to mute. Okay. But anyway, so he had the maid. She ends up dying at their house. There's another boy that's the same age as the oldest son, which I had the picture of him pulled up. That he ends up, they at first said that it was a hit and run accident, and his mom never believed that. They found him like 3 miles down the road from his car in the middle of the road. So once Alex Murdock's wife and son were murdered, then they ended up opening up the case for Stephen Smith. He's the one that was found in the middle of the road. Okay, and I do have a video here that kind of does like a rundown of everything. Because I know there was a lot of people that didn't follow the case. Yeah, they're saying that the dog reared up on the housekeeper and she ended up falling down some stairs. Okay. And basically this video, it literally says the Alex Murdaugh murder trial explained in 5 minutes. So. And it's like 3 days old. But it's a rundown, like I said, because I know a lot of people haven't followed the case. So give me just a second. Let me get it pulled up here. And Penny, I heard that too. But one of the attorneys came out and said that, oh no, that's not true. There's no facts to to prove that and all this and that. So whether that was true or not, I don't know. I mean, it could be a possibility. But I know that Stephen Smith's mom doesn't believe that it was an accident what happened to him. She thinks it was foul play. Wait, what a baby! Mine's actually stayed on live chat tonight. It hasn't messed up at all. I still don't like the new thing on the phone though. I wish they would have left it alone. All right, so let me get this video pulled up here for y'all. Yeah, they went to school together, played sports together. Pretty much just, grew up together. And okay, so that kind of sums it up in a quick 5 minutes. So it's a very strange case, kind of not exactly like the Idaho case, but very, very strange. Yes, it's me. That's kind of what it sounds like. Lori P, how are you? And he's like, I think it was Scott that just said a few minutes ago, he basically shit on the family legacy. All right, let me So this is it's gonna be another good case to follow, or another good trial to follow. All right, so I do have an article here I'm going to read, and it basically tells the names that you need to know that is involved with the trial. Let me get this pulled up here real quick. King Scarlet, I don't know. I've heard that because his financial issues were about to be exposed, and some are saying that he murdered his wife and son so he can get sympathy from the community before the financial issues were exposed. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. That's what some are saying. I don't know if it has to do with Paul, his son, who was murdered. I don't know if it has something to do with him and the whole boat accident. You know, and because the girl who was thrown from the boat and died, she was only 19. Some people thought that maybe her death had something to do with their death, as in like a retaliation type thing. See, Lawnmower Man says, I think his wife and son were going to tell police that Alec murdered the housekeeper. The housekeeper one is another weird one because, like I said, the dog rears up on her and she ends up falling down some stairs. And then he tells her sons that he's responsible for it, for them to sue his insurance. He actually has another attorney that helps them do that. And they were supposed to get the insurance money off of it, and they never did. And like I said, one of her sons that lived with her, he got evicted out of the house because he couldn't pay the bills. There wasn't no money. And Alec Murdock knew that, but instead of helping him, because this lady had worked for them for 25 years, basically helped raise their two sons, she was also their nanny, he didn't help him at all. He just let him get kicked out. Okay, the son was in real trouble for the boat accident, and he was yeah. That's okay. Alex went around to all the witnesses of the boat accident. Yes, he did, Scott. At the hospital, he did that. Went and talked to each one of them, told them not to speak of it, and all this and that. So there was, like I said, the Stephen Smith guy. I think that one happened in 2015. And Stephen Smith's mom doesn't believe it. And the sad thing with that one was that right after Stephen Smith died, like 3 months later, I believe they said, his dad died. And his mom said that she believes that his dad died from a broken heart because of their son passing away. Then you got the housekeeper. Then you got his youngest son and his wife. Then he, like a few months after they die, he goes and hires someone to shoot him because he was trying to set his son up with his life insurance policy, and it ended up not working out. And when he was being questioned about it, he ended up admitting to doing it. And the guy that was hired to do it is now sitting in jail and is actually one of the witnesses for his case. All right, so it says these are the names to know in the murder trial against Alec Murdock. And this was his family. That was his wife and his youngest son over here on the left. Yeah, Lawnmower Man, cousin Eddie. He's actually on the witness list to testify. Oh, Simple Butterfly. He's lost a lot of weight. But, you know, he was on opioids for 10 years. And after the whole murder thing, because there was an unaliving clause in his life insurance policy that if he would have unalived himself, his son wouldn't have got he couldn't have got the money. So he hired the guy, and the guy, Alex, called in to 911, said that he was on the side of the road changing a tire. A guy pulls up, offers to help him, and whenever he turned his back, the guy shoots him in his head. A lot of people claim that they never seen the wound in his head. I never seen it either. Like, they had him in the courtroom after it happened, and there was no wound on his head. See you too. How are you? She said, just wanted to say hi to everyone. Prayers for everyone that needs it. I am always late. Sorry. I am going back to the beginning. It's okay. See you too if you're late. Just you being here with us is good enough. Thank you for dropping in and saying hi to everyone. Emerald Queen is fine. All right. So it's got a few different names, and it tells in this article who each one of these people are. So it says the murder trial of disgraced South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh is underway at the Colton County Courthouse in Walterboro, a small town about 40 miles east of Charleston. The case goes back to June 2021 when Murdaugh's wife and son were found shot to death at the family's Islington property known as Moselle, and that's like the 1,700-acre, I guess you would call it a 1,700-acre estate that they had there. Murdock has pleaded not guilty to 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime related to his wife and son's death. Separate from the murder charges, he also faces 99 charges stemming from alleged financial crimes. Here are the key players in the murder trial. So we know Alec Murdaugh. He's now disbarred. So he was fired from the firm that he worked for, and then he ended up somehow retiring from it, and then he got disbarred. So Murdock is a member of the prominent legal family in the South Carolina Lowcountry. 3 generations of his family, over 87 years, have served as a solicitor for the 14th Circuit, which oversaw prosecutions throughout the area. A portrait of his late grandfather, one of the solicitors, had hung on the wall of the courtroom, and it was removed before trial. And Murdock has pleaded not guilty to the charges. He said, I don't understand why they took the picture down. Simple Butterfly, I don't know who owns it, or if he still has it, or if his son's going to get it, or if they're going to have to sell it, or what. Because allegedly he ain't got no money, but yet his attorney is one of the senators. So curious to know how he's paying for his attorneys. All right, so Margaret and Maggie Murdock, which is Alex Murdaugh's wife, who was 52 when she was found fatally shot with the couple's younger son at the family's Moselle estate on June the 7th of 2021. Hey, Guapo, how are you? Paul Murdock, which was Alex Murdaugh's 22-year-old son, who was found fatally shot with his mother at the family's Moselle estate on June the 7th, 2021. And at the time, he was facing charges of boating under the influence, causing great bodily harm, and causing death in connection to the 2019 boat crash that claimed the life of 19-year-old Mallory Beach, court records show. He pleaded not guilty, and the charges were dropped after his death. Hey, Lady Linda G., how are you? All right, so Crichton Waters. He's a South Carolina Senior Assistant Deputy Attorney General and lead prosecutor. He has been involved with the case since 2021, and the State Attorney General's office is prosecuting the case because of the Murdock family's close ties with the local solicitor's office. All right, and then this is going to be his attorney, Richard Harpootlian. One of Alex Murdaugh's defense attorneys, along with Jim Griffin. Harpootlian is the South Carolina state senator and attorney whose Columbia-based practice specializes in criminal defense. And then Jim Griffin is the other attorney, one of Alex Murdaugh's defense attorneys, along with Dick Harpootlian, a former federal prosecutor, and he now works as a state and federal criminal defense attorney based in Columbia, South Carolina. So that's both of his attorneys there sitting with him. And crime crazy, yes, that more than likely what they did, because I mean that the estate that they had, the house, everything, that was very, very nice. So Clifton Newman, he's the judge. Okay. And says the South Carolina Circuit Court judge hearing the case. He has been on the bench since 2000. Newman has presided over various proceedings in the Murdock case since 2021. And then Curtis Eddie Smith. This is Cousin Eddie. A former client of Alex Murdaugh. Murdock told authorities he conspired with Smith to kill Murdock as a part of an insurance fraud scheme, per court documents. Purportedly, so Murdock's surviving son, Buster, which is the oldest son, could collect a $10 million life insurance payout. Smith admitted in 2021 to being present at the shooting and disposing of the firearm after, according to the affidavit. All right, then there's Buster Murdock. So Alex Murdock's surviving son, he was in court for opening statements, and for the first time he has appeared at legal proceedings for his father and is listed as a witness at the trial. His father's scheme for Smith to kill Murdock was an attempt on his part to do something to protect his child. Talking about Buster. One of the real ones. How are you? Harpootlian, the attorney, said. Then there's John Marvin Murdock, which is Alex's younger brother. He is listed as a witness at the trial and accompanied Buster Murdock to court this week. Gloria Satterfield. She's the Murdock family's a longtime housekeeper who died in 2018 in what was described as a trip and fall accident at their home. Murdock is accused of misappropriating funds meant for Satterfield's family as part of a wrongful death settlement. All right, and then we got Tom Bevel, an expert in blood stain pattern analysis, who analyzed the shirt worn by Alex Murdock on the night that his wife and son were killed. In a motion filed just before the trial, the defense asked the court to prohibit Bevel from testifying. Yeah, a lot more minutes. Trip and fall, like I said, allegedly they threw the dog in there, claiming that there was something to do with the dog, and she ended up falling down the steps. Alec ended up calling 911, saying that he thinks she hit her head and that she might have had a concussion. And then Maggie also called 911. So those are all the names that they're saying that you need to know about, like who they are and all that. That has to do with this case. Okay, Emerald Queen, I'll check it in just 1 second. Let me grab my next thing here real quick, y'all. I think Maggie witnessed Alex, but she could have Lawnmower Man. I'm sure she might not have known everything that he was doing that was illegal, but I would assume she probably knew some of the things. Okay, that ain't what I wanted. Okay. All right, and then I got just a couple of different videos here, and then I'm gonna open up the panel if anybody wants to come up and like we did with Bryan, give your thoughts, opinions, theories, and all that. See, it's like a soap opera. Thank you for explaining that, Penny. You're very welcome. It's very confusing because there's so many different people involved, but there's several deaths involved. If you think there's Mallory, the 19-year-old girl who was thrown from the boat and died. There's the Stephen Smith boy. Then there's the housekeeper, and then you've got Maggie and Paul. So there's 5 deaths that's involved with just him. And yeah, she could have been scared of him. And they have said also that so the night that they were murdered, before everything happened, he allegedly was at his mom's house because his mom has Alzheimer's, and he was her caregiver and all this and that. So he was at her house during the time of the murders. But it was also said that night he had asked Maggie and Paul to come by the house. She ends up sending a text message to a friend of hers and says that he's up to something, that he's acting weird. So I don't know if he was trying to get him to the house and was going to do something to him, or what, or if he hired somebody to do this to him. It's very confusing, B, honestly. It's like a lot to take in and keep up with. All right. Let me grab my first video here. All right, so 1 second, I'm going to bring it up. And Bryan Enton is actually in this one too. He's been covering this case as well. And yeah, she could have been very well scared of him. I mean, just like they said, his family. There was some people that were saying that his family, they wasn't scared to do things, and they wasn't scared to use their authority. You know, a lot of people in that area were scared of just the Murdock name. All right, so why is this not pulling up for me? Okay. All right, and this one's just, it says nothing explosive in day 2 of the Murdock trial, attorneys say. And this is actually day 4 of the trial, but the first 2.5 days were seating the jury. So they're claiming that today would be actually day 2 because they did do the opening statements yesterday. King Scarlet, it's very interesting, but like I said, it's a lot of twists in it, and it's a lot to keep up with, like a lot to keep up with. And they're saying that this trial is supposed to go until around February the 10th. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and play this one for y'all real quick.
All right, let's get more perspective on the trial. Attorney Eric Bland joins us now. He also represented the Murdock housekeeper's family in another case and several other cases connected to the Murdock family. Eric, thank you so much for being with us. What stood out to you most from today's witness testimony?
Well, from the prosecution side, it's like building a house. You have to start with the foundation, and that's why they had the officer who arrived on the scene to secure it. Then they went to the first responders, and it was methodical, sometimes interesting, other times plotting. And that's what has to be done because they have the burden of proof. And so they have to show exactly what happened. The interesting testimony that came out for me from that was obviously about the tire tracks, as well as Alex's lack of what seemed to be emotion with Officer Green. However, I have been to Moselle, and when I was at Moselle at the kennels, there were a lot of different tire tracks coming from different directions. So I don't know whether that's a red herring. I could tell you this as a lawyer, that any good defense lawyer can break a crime scene. I've never heard a defense lawyer stand up and say, you know what, Your Honor, they did a wonderful job in securing the crime scene and investigating and analyzing it. I have no question. So any good lawyer could say, well, you didn't bring the tape back enough, or you didn't take pictures, or you didn't put the lights. So Dick did his job. From Dick Harpootlian's standpoint, I think he is starting to weave the theme that there were multiple shooters, and that's why he said that there were multiple tire tracks. I don't think there was really anything explosive today. I thought Alex's emotions in the court were real. Obviously, seeing his family and hearing, even if he did kill his wife and his son, the graphic nature in a public courthouse being aired publicly is very emotional for him. So I don't believe those were fake tears. However, people need to understand Alex is an amazing actor. I have substantial knowledge based on my dealings of him victimizing not only his clients, but his family, his law partners, his friends for many, many years. And he's very good as an actor at manipulation. Not saying he's doing that today, but please, let's not forget that he was able to manipulate a lot of people over a long period of time.
Well, Eric, let's talk about that. Let's talk about, the emotion. Alec was crying in the courtroom both today, also yesterday, wiping away tears. Yesterday, we know his attorney had him stand up. Is the defense strategy trying to paint him maybe as a family man here?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously, he saw his family for the first time in the better part of a year. He didn't see a lot of his family. I don't know who visited him in jail, if any, except his brother, John Marvin, and maybe Buster. But he saw his brothers, his sisters, their spouses, and that would be emotional for any man living in isolation like he is in jail. But Dick is trying to humanize him in front of this jury. There's been a substantial amount of pretrial publicity about him being a serial thief. I call him a serial pen slinger. I think it was a little disingenuous for Dick to say, it's my honor to represent Alex Murdaugh. No, I don't think it's an honor to represent somebody if you're a lawyer, and that lawyer disgraced our profession and stole almost $10 million from a multitude of victim clients who were in a desperate situation after losing loved ones or having medical catastrophes. So saying that, it's my
Eric,
honor.
what about, you mentioned the fact of Alex's family. So we don't have a lot of time, so I want to make sure I get this in.
Sure.
What does it say to the jury, do you think, that Alex's family is there in the courtroom watching the trial? His surviving son, 2 of his brothers are there.
Yeah, I think it's a strong statement because they're sitting on the defense side. The state is spending all this money and all this time in prosecuting the case for Maggie and Paul. They're the guardians of the gate and champions for Maggie and Paul. And yet none of the family members are sitting on the state side. They're sitting on Alex's side. So that is a strong statement to the jury. Juries have 24 eyes and 24 ears, and they're watching and hearing everything. And that is not lost on them. And I'm sure there's some comment about that in the jury room.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television.
Okay. So clearly he's a manipulator. Let's see. I think Buster secretly is happy he is free from his father. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe they were all scared of him. Maggie, Paul, and Buster. Simple Butterfly, Buster was sitting behind Alec in the courtroom. And I believe that was Alec's sister, because I know his sister has been there too. Alec's sister has. I believe Buster was sitting next to her in the courtroom. And she was actually there day 2 of I think it was day 2 of the jury when they were doing the jury selection. And she was sitting behind him, and before they got ready to take him out of the courtroom, he actually fist bumped her and told her he loved her and all that. Which if that had been anywhere else, like in Louisiana, if you're in court and you're an inmate in court, you're not touching nobody in the gallery, whether it's your family or anything like that. But with him, because of his last name, they were okay with it. He literally laughs and jokes with the officers that bring him to the courthouse. He laughs and jokes with the bailiffs. It's all because of his family name. Oh, White Widow Baby. Did you watch the thing today, the court? Like, he was sitting in court, y'all, and he would sit there and he was like bouncing his head back and forth. And he had his head down, but those glasses that he wears them like on the end of his nose, and he would cut his eyes up like towards the jury while he was sitting there, and he was like side-eyeing them to see if they were watching him. And then you could see him like he's trying to make himself cry. It was very weird. All right. Let's see. South Carolina in the spotlight. Maybe there's hope for justice. I still can't get over them having all the damn food trucks, y'all, at court. See, does he have a tick? He moves his head. A simple butterfly. I don't know. Because he doesn't do it all the time. So I don't know if it's just like a nervous tick or what it is. But he was literally just sitting there, just like he was. It was almost like he was rocking a little bit. While he was doing it. You know, like rocking and kind of like bobbing his head a little bit. But it wasn't like a. It's just like a small rock is the best way to explain it. Y'all, Troll has got some dang chicken wings in there that he cooked. It's got the whole house smelling good. That could be what it is, Chrome Crazy. Maybe like a self-soothing thing. Or I don't know if it's that or if it's just a nervous tick that he's got. But he was literally like, you could see him cutting his eye up to see if anybody was watching him. I am in just a few minutes, White Little Baby. I got this video that I'm about to play, and then I got 2 more. And then I'm going to, if anybody wants to come up on panel for a few minutes to give their thoughts and opinions and all that, they're more than welcome to. And then I'm gonna go eat. Scott, his hair, like before all this, which it was like super red, not as red as his boys though, but it was like super red. And you can see his son sitting right there behind him. Wait, I haven't pulled it up yet. Hold on. Let's see. Let me pull this up, and then it'll show his son. H-Town Finest, how are you? Okay. All right, so anyway, on this picture right here, you can see his son sitting back there in the back. Alex Murdock looks like an adult-sized 8-year-old boy. Okay, that is too funny. Oh, more man. Okay, so this one is the Murdock trial. All body cam video was admitted into evidence. I think this is the one where they're showing it, the body cam footage. It shows him. I think I got the one that shows him walking, I believe. All right, so let's play this one.
Today, witness testimony began today in the Alec Murdaugh double murder trial. First responders on the scene describing in graphic detail the disturbing conditions in which they found the bodies of Maggie and Paul Murdock, even bringing their accused murderer, Alec, to tears. Senior national correspondent Bryan is live outside that courthouse in South Carolina. Bryan, we just learned police are planning to release the body cam video.
Yeah, that's going to be a big deal and should be happening over the next couple of days. That is video that we have never seen before. So that'll be a big development. As for court today, it was hard to listen to. It was emotional. They went into just graphic detail of exactly how these brutal killings happened and the conditions of the body. Alec Murdaugh, he was emotional throughout the day, at least appeared to be crying pretty much throughout the entire day up until just a little while ago, which was interesting because some of the first responders who were first to get to the murder scene said he was not emotional. Alec Murdaugh breaking down in tears over and over again, at one point even weeping. Sergeant Daniel Green, who was first on scene to the murders, took the stand. This is how Green described Murdaugh when he arrived.
He did not appear to be crying. He was upset, but I did not see any visible tears.
But the tears flowed in court. Sergeant Green told the jury what Murdaugh said when he first showed up.
His immediate reaction was to start telling me about an incident that had happened with his son with a boating accident.
With the boating accident?
Yes, sir.
Had you asked him anything about that?
I did not.
First responders went into disturbing detail about the condition of the victims, Maggie and Paul Murdock.
He was laying down with, you can see there's substantial damage to his head with a lot of blood around his head and what appeared to be his brain down there around his ankles.
And this is how you found Paul.
That is correct.
The jury saw the shotgun found at the scene and graphic body camera video that showed the condition of the mother and son. The video so disturbing, special accommodations were made so family members in the audience, like Alex Murdaugh's son Buster, wouldn't have to see the video. The defense honing in on evidence the responding deputies may have missed, like tire tracks.
What did you do to preserve those?
The tire tracks? Nothing.
And you certainly are not an expert in tire tracks.
I'm not.
So you couldn't tell whether it was multiple vehicles or one vehicle?
No.
And it may have been multiple vehicles?
May have been.
And also footprints, the defense alleges, were not documented.
Did you take pictures of the tracks?
I did not take any pictures of the scene.
Instruct anyone to take pictures of the tracks?
No, sir, that's not my job.
When SLED arrived, did you tell them about the tracks?
No, sir, not my job.
And it was interesting the way they set up the courtroom when they were playing all of that graphic body camera video. They had some boxes and papers covering a TV so only the jury could see the video. The people sitting in the audience and the family members could not see the video at all, but the jury could see the video. They didn't appear to show much emotion during those really graphic parts, but some of them actually did lean in to see things a little closer. Nicole?
All right, Bryan, thank you for that. Thank you for watching. Go to News Nation now.
Okay, so I do apologize. I forgot to tell the mods to throw the trigger warning in there for that part. But yeah, the cop, he's asking him, well, like, you know, did you take pictures of the tire tracks? It wasn't his job. He didn't even tell SLED whenever SLED got there about them because it wasn't his job, which is crazy. You would think. No, it's fine. Wait, what a baby. I completely forgot about that part because it was talking about, you know, what's in those papers, the graphic part. And I completely forgot, so that's my fault. But you would think you've got two people who had just been murdered, whether it's your job or not. If you see tire tracks, you make sure to tell whose ever job it is that there's tire tracks that, you know, they need to be photographed. Wonder if the defense might say that Paul did. Lawnmower Man, yeah, they're not going to be able to do that. He was actually hit with a shotgun in his chest and then in his head. And I don't know if you heard it or not when it was talking about the one guy was talking about how his body was, they're not going to be able to say that it was a murder unaliving. Yeah, Scott, it was very, very graphic. So I can't remember what is in these other videos, y'all, mod. So if y'all can throw up a trigger warning, because right whenever I remembered about he was going to say that, I was trying to like hurry up and type it, and it ended up saying it on the video before I could get it in the chat quick enough. No, everything that they showed as far as the bodies and all that, only they covered all the screens up so the family couldn't see it. They only had it to where the jury could see it. All right, let me grab my next one. Let's see. Prosecution prevents, Lord Jesus, y'all, I can't talk tonight. Presents first witness. Give me just a second. And Jen, he did that so he wouldn't, because like with his insurance policy, his life insurance, if he would have did it himself, then his son wouldn't have got the life insurance policy. So he ended up hiring the Curtis guy to do it. Hey, NorCal Jim, how are you? Gregory, his last name, honestly. I think that he thought that, you know, their name is a very, I guess you could say, a very prominent name in that area. And he probably thought that he was smart enough because, you know, he's got all these years. He's like another Bryan Kohberger. He's a very smart dude, and he's got all these years of being an attorney, and probably thought he knew how to get away with it. Okay. All right, give me just 1 second. Let me grab this other one that I have. Okay. All right. Give me just a second. My internet's going slow. What happened? Why is it not bringing my video up? And Simple Butterfly, I don't know what happened to the dogs. I don't know if Buster kept them, because they were hunting dogs. So that's why they had them down at the kennels. So I don't know if he ended up keeping them, or if they sold them, or what they did with them. I know one of the dogs was Paul's friend's dog. And it was said that Paul was keeping the dog at the kennels because he had an illness or something, and he was helping his friend out, you know, helping take care of it and all that. And that he had actually did a Snapchat video and was showing, hey, small town girl, how are you? And was showing his friend, the dog, on the Snapchat video. And that's how he ended up catching Alex and Maggie in the background. Okay, and this is just a short video. It's only like a little over, almost 2 minutes long. And it's just prosecution presents the first witness in the Murdock murder trial. So it's like super short. And then I got like one other one after this one to show. Gee, and I thought about that. I mean, he hired Curtis to shoot him. So I wonder if he hired him, to do the other two. But they're saying that everything points back to Alex doing it, that they have proof that his phone shows that he was on the property when they were murdered. So I don't know. They're claiming, the state is claiming that they're going to prove that he did it. All right, so let me play this one now.
I want to bring in attorney Rachel Fizet now to talk more about what we're seeing in the case, and also former FBI agent Tracy Walder. Thank you both for being with us this morning. As you listen to testimony, I want to point out to our audience that they are showing the jury some body camera video from the night of the murders once that first officer arrived on the scene. We are not able to see that at this point, but we're listening as they go through the accounts of finding the bodies surrounded by blood, some of the original statements by Alec Murdaugh himself. Rachel, let me have you weigh in first. Based on what we've heard so far, this is the lead prosecutor in the case, Creighton Waters, laying out for the jury his case. What stands out to you about what he is sharing with the jury this morning?
He's really just taking the jury through the scene. He was the first responder, and he is walking through everything that he saw. I think he is definitely the state's witness. He's clearly skeptical of how Alec Murdaugh was acting when he got there. No tears, no blood on him, but he's setting the scene so the jury understands that when he got there, it's a gory scene. Everybody would know that they were deceased. The tire tracks were weird to him. He's really just methodically going through what they're observing, the shell casings. And I think this just gives a picture in the jury's mind of what happened immediately upon receiving the call.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Okay. And Stone Gator, if they have a motive, they haven't said what it is. Some people are saying that he did the murders, that Alec did the murders in order to get sympathy, because of all of his financial issues or problems were about to be exposed, and he knew that. So some people were saying that he murdered him in order to get sympathy from the community and all that, because, before all of it was exposed. So I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if they have another motive or what. Let's see. I have a feeling that after this trial, that's not my job to maybe looking for a job. Yeah, I would think if it's not your job, but you're still a police officer, and you know that it had to be done, and you know whose job that it would have been, that you would have made sure that when SLED got there, you would have told them, okay, I didn't, there are tire tracks over here. I did not take pictures of them, but I'm letting you know that they're there and they need to have pictures taken of them. So he literally that cop made himself look like an idiot by saying that. All right, let me grab this last video real quick. All right. And this is another one about him crying. And this one, I believe this is it. That shows it a little bit better of him crying and how he's doing his head and all that, like I was talking about earlier. A simple butterfly, yes, I heard it. Okay, give me just 1 second, y'all. Let me grab this one and get it pulled up here. All right. Yeah. Chris Ian, how are you? Okay, taking loans. I don't know what's going on at the open, but look here. All right. All right, so I'm gonna get this one for y'all. This one just says a Murdock cries in court as body cam footage is played. So trigger warning on this as well, y'all.
Murdock cried through much of day one of his murder trial. The prominent South Carolina attorney is accused of killing his wife and son as his life unraveled amid drug abuse and theft. Bryan Enton joins us just outside the courtroom in South Carolina. All of a sudden, things got sort of wildly interesting just in the first day of testimony. I feel like we didn't learn as much as just the reactions of Murdock in the courtroom sort of told us so much about the case versus how he reacted and sounded on the 911 call and in the body cam footage.
Yeah, I mean, he cried all day. It wasn't just this morning. He literally cried all day long in the courtroom throughout the entire thing. And what was interesting, Leland, is you obviously can't see the jurors on TV, but they were watching him for much of the day. They were staring at him, which has got a lot of people saying, look, is this a tactic that the defense came up with? You see him right there. He's sobbing again there. Was this all part of the plan because they knew the jurors would have their eyes on him? You know, it was interesting. The first responders took the stand today, and many of them said when they showed up out to the murder scene, when he was standing there, he didn't cry. But you see today, that's what went on all day long.
Yeah, and you have to remember, it's a trial attorney on trial, so he knows better than anybody that the jury is going to be watching him. This is one of the first responders describing those very first minutes when they arrived after Murdock called 911 and said, my son and my wife are dead. Take a listen.
Brain scanner, Murdock. How you doing?
What did the defendant say right there?
So while I'm in the process of gathering information about the two victims from Mr. Murdaugh, somebody walks by behind me and he pauses what he's telling me to say, hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah.
And who was that he said that to?
I'm not 100% certain. I believe it was a fire rescue individual.
And to be fair, none of us have been in a situation where you arrive to find loved ones killed. If he's innocent, you arrive to find that, and you would be in shock and in disbelief and in distress and all of these things. Did the defense in any way try to explain this or have the police officer who they were questioning sort of relay anything on cross-examination?
Well, they did have a couple of officers when they drilled in who said, well, he wasn't crying, but he did seem emotional. But what stood out to me is what he immediately started talking about when the officers showed up, like immediately, was that, oh, my son was involved in this boat accident. This might have something to do with that. He started saying that right away, which the prosecution later went on to say was very, very interesting. Was he already trying to sort of build an alibi?
Well, you could always be trying to build an alibi, or your son has just been murdered, and you're talking about what could have led to that murder. Here's real quickly the cross-examination of some of the police officers.
What did you do to preserve those?
The tire tracks, nothing.
And you certainly are not an expert in tire tracks.
I'm not.
So you couldn't tell whether it was multiple vehicles or one vehicle.
No.
And it may have been multiple vehicles.
May have been.
How much is police incompetence going to play in this?
Look, that was a big moment. That was a win for the defense. They didn't record or, take note of the tire tracks. And there was also footprints that they apparently didn't document. There's not a lot of evidence that we've seen so far, rock solid evidence that puts Murdock there as the murderer. He's not on camera. There's not an eyewitness. So that leaves a lot of wiggle room here for the defense to bring up these things.
Yeah, especially in a world, as we've heard often from prosecutors, where juries expect sort of the same information that they see on TV shows. Bryan, thank you. Day 2 tomorrow. We'll check back in.
Thanks.
Thanks for
Okay. So tomorrow it should be very interesting, y'all. And I've got my clock set for 7:30 to get up and to stream it. So hopefully y'all will join me. All right, I'm going to throw the link out in the chat for a little bit. If y'all want to come up, give your thoughts and opinions and all this and that good stuff on the Alex Murdaugh case, you're more than welcome to. Jen, this whole case is just weird. I mean, I don't know what it is about these weird cases. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully the digital footprint will put him away. Gregory, the prosecution is saying that they are going to prove that he was there on the Moselle property when they were murdered and that he was the one that did it. Now, I don't know. They have said about his phone, his phone is showing that he was there. So hopefully, they have enough to prove that he did it. Let's see, in the process of watching the Murdock Mysteries on Discovery Plus. Yeah, just the family itself is interesting. This whole thing, y'all. Like I said, I'm gonna be up in the morning. I'm gonna stream it. I hope y'all come and join me. I'm not gonna stay up till 6 o'clock again. Yeah, I think it's the son's video with him talking. He said he wasn't. Stone Gator, you have a wonderful night, honey. Okay, all the Paul problems ended with Paul. The lawsuit would have had people, yeah. That's what some people were saying, that because of the incident, the boat accident, that was like the downfall of all of his, or a lot of his financial problems. And they're claiming that, like some of the clients that he had through that firm that he was working for, I think it was like it was either 8.2 million or 8.5 million that he ended up getting out of people. Miss Honeypenny, that is true. Too many people have died around this family for it to always be an accident or a coincidence. Yes, that is true. I mean, when that many people start passing away, then you need to look at who the common denominator of all those people are. And hopefully there will be more information about the Stephen Smith boy that comes out. You know, like I said, his mom doesn't believe that he was a victim of a hit and run accident. She believes it is foul play. So hopefully we'll get more information. Oh yes, Sinful Butterfly. Just like Chad and Lori's another one. That is, it's weird. How many people around them has passed away? But that too is going to be another interesting trial. Like I said, I don't know if they're gonna. I doubt they live stream the February 9th court date for Lori. But there should be some information out about it on or around that date. Okay, so Scott, the Stephen Smith part, he was a boy that grew up with Buster, the Murdoch's oldest son. He was part of the LGBTQ community, and he was driving down the road one day, and he grew up in the area, so he knew the area, he knew all the roads, he knew most of the people that lived around there. I was driving his car down the road, and his car runs out of gas. And his mom says that he had a cell phone, he could have called somebody, but he was found 3 miles away from his car, laying in the middle of the road, and they said that he was a victim of hit and run. And his mama never believed it. His mama kept saying that that's not true. He was, because of the community that he belonged to, she believed that he became a victim of foul play. And nobody was ever arrested for it. Like, the case, really didn't go anywhere. Rumors were out that him and Buster had something going on. And B, you have a wonderful night, honey. There was rumors going around that him and Buster had a relationship. But there was an attorney that came out and said that there was no proof to that. That was just rumors and all this and that. But I believe the mom thinks that maybe the Murdaughs had something to do with it, because he was found not far from their house on that road where the estate is. And then, like I said, his dad, about 3 months, I think it was 3 or 4 months after Stephen died, his dad passed away. And Stephen's mom said that she believes that he passed away from a broken heart because the son had passed away. Hey, Callie, how are you? So whenever Paul and Maggie were murdered, then they said they ended up going back and looking into the Smith case, Stephen Smith's case. So there may be something that comes out about that too. I don't know. So hopefully we'll hear more about that. Hopefully we'll hear, more on the Gloria Satterfield, the maid and nanny. Her sons maybe will come out and speak on this. Well, I just know that tomorrow is going to be a very interesting day in court. And Scott, you're very welcome. Let's see. Okay, yeah, and that another thing, Alex and his brother, when the Smith boy had passed away and the cops were there, Alec and his brother were actually the first ones to show up after the cops found him. Which a lot of people thought that, and I think that may be where his mom might have thought also that there was something a little fishy going on there with the Murdaughs, because they were the first ones to show up. Let's see. My experience so far in life, I hope they all show their true colors and real justice happens. America first, yes. Because, just like Maddie and Kaylee and Xana and Ethan, Maggie and Paul deserve justice also. No matter who Alex's family is or what notoriety they have in that community or whatever, if he did it, he needs to pay for his crime. Moonville, you have a wonderful night. Scott, they're claiming that they have the cell data, and they could not find. Okay, so the night of the murders, they couldn't find Maggie's phone. Someone, I can't remember who they said it was, but it was a family member that actually used some kind of, I don't know if she had an iPhone. You can like do the Find My Phone thing or whatever, but they ended up finding her phone on the side of the main highway, and that was in front of their house. They ended up finding it like a day or two afterwards. So they're claiming that they have the cell data. Like I said, the prosecutors are saying that Alex's cell phone is showing that he was there on the property the night that the murders happened, when he's claiming that he was at his mama's house. All right. Okay, let me make sure I've got everything real quick before I end it. And yeah, that was another thing too. His the Smith boy, Stephen Smith's mom, she was saying that whenever after the cops had found her son, and they put the crime scene tape and everything up, that Alex and his brother had, whenever they got there, they like lifted the tape up, the crime scene tape, and went under it. And Stephen's mom thought that was weird, that they allowed Alex and his brother to go under it and go basically into a crime scene. America first, you have a wonderful night. So it's just a lot of twists and turns and all that with this case. Like I said, it should be another good day in court tomorrow. So I'm fixing to get off of here so I can eat and go to bed. Michelle, you have a wonderful night too, honey. So I'm fixing to get off here so I can go to bed. I am going to be up in the morning to stream it. So hopefully, if y'all will come join me. Like I said, while it's playing, I won't be talking or anything, but I will be in the chat. I'll jump on whenever. Emerald Queen, I'll see you tomorrow, honey. Have a good night. And during the breaks and stuff like that, because they do break for lunch and stuff like that. So I will, I'll jump on and talk, while they're on break. Tomorrow night, don't forget, Friday night, I'm doing the giveaway, the 4,000 sub giveaway for the Amazon gift card. So make sure that y'all are here for that as well. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think that was it. What up, baby? You have a good night, honey. Crime Crazy, you have a good night. All right, so I'm fixing to get out of here. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me. I love you all. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and hopefully I will see y'all in the morning.